lunch ladies smoke break song. She doesn't like them to be alone. That's just the way it's gonna be. So what are y'all into? Hey Richie, have you drank a few? I drank a few too, back in '93. This is a Pete dance song. Everybody better be getting on. Sit on the pot and pee, even if you have a wee. This is the beefcake song. He needs coffee for his drive to be gone from the house so he can make some money. This is an Aussie song. Everyone just sing along. We'll sing hey true blue and green with the cooey. This is a British song. It's a quite proper song. We will all go mad unless you sing along. Okay, that's long enough for our professional smoker. Come back to your chat, great host Lee. Hot box that cigarette. Your song is over yet? My words I'm starting to forget because we don't ever sleep. Hit the like chicken, LL Cool Mom out. I'll be one ticking, LL Cool Mom out. Everyone just sing along. We'll sing hey true blue and green with the cooey. This is a British song. It's a quite proper song. We will all go mad unless you sing along. Okay, that's long enough for our professional smoker. Come back to your chat, great host Lee. Hot box that cigarette. Your song is over yet? My words I'm starting to forget because we don't ever sleep. Hit the like chicken, LL Cool Mom out. Hope you want chicken, LL Cool Mom out. How about?
Hello. Right, hang on. Can't see a thing. Hello, everyone. Hope you can hear me okay. Hey, getting good at this, you know. Getting good. Just got it a bit lost trying to do a thumbnail earlier. So, Leonie's going to sort that for me for tomorrow. So, how is everyone? Is everyone okay? And people in the UK, have you had nothing but rain the whole live long day? It's been teeming here, and I mean teeming. Loud and clear. That's good. Yeah, she's got to sort it, JB, because I don't know what I've done different. I did exactly the same yesterday. So, I'm baffled. But you know what? I'm going to be trying because all it was doing is just leaving Leonie's picture, just like I'd never put a thumbnail on. So I don't know what's going on there. So it is what it is, but at least, you know. Okay, so I'm going to take a swig and I'm going to get right into it tonight rather than sit and gab. So come on, have a little gab amongst yourselves a minute. I'm just going to get the book, find my page. Thank everyone for coming in. Good to see you all. And that's that, yeah. Oops, wrecking the joint at the same time. Oh my God, the dark nights. It's just gone really, really dark from earlier. Can't believe it just seems to have gone from summer to winter right away. I've got a pair of boots on, a pair of woolen tights, honestly, and I had a big padded coat on today when he had to go out. I can't believe it. So, right, yeah, get your cuppers, sit down, throw your feet up, because you're going to be here for about 2 hours listening to this story. Here we go. Let's see where we are. All right. Let's get going. Guys. Let's get reading some of the book. I'd love to be able to talk like that, but I can't do it. I sound very deep when I talk like that. Hi, let's get going. Let's get going, guys. Let's get going and do some reading. Okay. Pin those ears back and listen to me. Get cozy, snuggle up, throw a blanket over you. If 18th of July was the date I now identify as a turning point, the following Monday, the 23rd of July, was the day when the warning sirens should have started to sound. Jerry, accompanied by Justin, have flown out to Washington, D.C., primarily to visit the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children in Alexandria, Virginia, a trip he'd been keen to make since establishing contact with the center CEO, Ernie Allen. Some other useful meetings and television interviews, including one for America's Most Wanted, hosted since 1988 by the campaigner for missing and abducted children, John Walsh, had been arranged around it. He was also able to meet the Attorney General, Alberto Gonzales, who undertook to offer US assistance, including the expertise of the FBI to the Portuguese authorities. That evening, I phoned Ricardo Pava to ask for help with a couple of letters I needed to have translated. He sounded strange, distant, certainly not his usual self. He mentioned the forthcoming ground search, adding that the Encarnacio wanted to talk to us before it began. I distinctly remember him saying, "Our investigation will be changing direction." Danny Krugel's report had given them a bit of a jolt, he told me. I was surprised. Surely the police couldn't be placing too much faith in the findings of an unknown and untested magic machine. I began to worry that perhaps they had some more solid lead that supported Danny's theory. I hope to God I was wrong. The next day, Bill Henderson rang to say that the police had deterred both the search and our regular updating meeting with them until the following week. Both pieces of news depressed me. Why did everything seem to take so long? With hindsight, it is clear to me something was going on in Port Mayo. I would never at the time have anticipated. In the evening, Ricardo and Jose G. Freitas came over to our villa. Ricardo didn't say much. Jose explained a little bit about the planning that was going into the search and talked about Danny Krugel's role and agenda. He mentioned that the police had discussed Krugel with a professor in Belfast who had described his machine as a pseudo-science fiction. I'm assuming Jose meant the British police, who had, I imagine, relayed this assessment to the Portuguese. I'm not sure, however, whether the police have fully taken it on board. Logic, it seems, often flies out of the window when you're under pressure and desperate for a result. Any result. At bedtime one evening, while Jerry was in the States, Amali said to me in a small voice, "Daddy at work? Mummy not going to work? Mummy not going anywhere? Mummy, stay here." There was a gulp from Mummy, remembering now the uncertainty and chaos of our lives then. All the people coming and going, some of whom we knew and some of whom we didn't, brings home to me just how unsettling and frightening the whole experience might have been for Sean and Amali, in spite of their resilience. Jerry flew back to Portugal that Thursday. On Sunday, the 29th of July, after 12 long weeks with us, Tricia and Sandy returned home to Scotland. They had been absolute towers of strength, and we had relied on them for so much that it was hard not to feel somehow stripped of protection layer and impossible not to cry, even for Jerry, whom Tricia dubbed Tiny Tears after an emotional goodbye. They had put their own lives on hold for us for 3 whole months, and their practical and emotional support was even more remarkable, considering that they were dealing throughout with their own anguish at the loss of their niece and goddaughter. On Monday, we had and would turn out to be our last regular meeting with the Neves and Acacio in every sense of the word. They talked to us about the search, which was due to start in the day's time, and yet again about Robert Murat. The following evening, Ricardo was supposed to be calling at the villa to speak to us. At 10 p.m, he phoned to say he couldn't make it, but would see us the next day. He didn't. Apart from finding little things like this slightly puzzling or exasperating, I hadn't sensed any profound change in anyone's behaviour of the police or in the direction the investigation was taking. Our attention was focused on the search and on campaign plans we were making with John Corner, who was coming over to Praia de Lou to lend a hand. My mum, dad, and Auntie Janet and Uncle Brian had also flown in for a visit. By the 2nd of August, however, those sirens were wailing so loudly I cannot understand how I missed them, and yet I did. That morning, Jerry and I, along with John and a colleague, were preparing to drive to Huelva in Spain to put up some posters of Madeline. John was intending to do some filming, and several of the British journalists were going to join us there on the give and take principle. It would give them a story centred on Madeline rather than on us, and this in turn will publicise our efforts. As I was dropping Sean and Amalia off at Toddler Club, I had a phone call from Jerry. The police wanted to come over at 10 a.m, something to do with forensics. They'd said great time and forensics. What was all that about? We'd never lied about anything. Not to the police, not to the media, not to anyone else. But now we found ourselves in one of those tricky situations. We just didn't seem to have a choice. As it happened, Jerry had a mild stomach upset, which we used an excuse to postpone the trip. We didn't feel good about this at all, but even if the judicial secrecy law had not prevented us from giving the main reason, can you imagine what would have happened if we'd announced to the journalists heading for Huelva that the police were coming to do some forensic work in our villa? We were not to know what excuse would prove no more than a temporary holding measure. If we had, we wouldn't have bothered trying to keep the scurrilous headlines at bay. My mum, dad, Brian and Janet set off for the town to get out of the way before the police arrived. 10 o'clock came and went, as did lunchtime, then the afternoon. It was 5 p.m. when they eventually showed up. They told us they wanted to shoot some video footage of our clothes and possessions. The forensic people would then take away and return them the following day. They offered no explanation as to why they were doing this. Jerry and I just assumed it was on a suggestion of the British team, who had no doubt pointed out that it should have been done much earlier. We could kind of see the point after all. The abductor could have brushed against some of our belongings and left traces of his DNA. Even at this late stage, it might be possible for some vital information to be retrieved. We were even quite pleased about this happening, that something was happening which might help find Madeline. Left with only the clothes we were wearing, we were all asked to leave the villa. It was early evening and we had to find somewhere to go with 2 tired and hungry toddlers in tow. When we were allowed back, we found 4 detectives in the house: Jose de Freitas, J.O. Carlos Ricardo Pava, and a woman called Carla. They went through the list of what had been removed. I was not only confused, I was devastated as well, as all of our clothes they had taken, my Bible, my friend's Bridget's Bible to be precise, Cuddle Cat, my diaries. Why had they all been taken? Why had my diaries been taken? Obviously not for any forensic purpose. The abductor couldn't have been in contact with them because they hadn't existed until halfway through May. And the Bible had been lent to me by Bridget's husband Paddy a week after Madeline's abduction. The journal were private and full of personal thoughts and messages to Madeline. I felt violated. All I remember is Jose saying that an anomaly had appeared in the investigation. His tone suggested that we shouldn't worry. It was just something that needed to be ironed out. Whether this was intended to imply or just my interpretation, I cannot say. When you're an innocent, it doesn't occur to you that you could be considered in any other light. Whatever the case, difficult as it is to believe, I still didn't smell a rat. We finally made it to Holbeth the following morning, so all was not lost on that front. Even if we did discover when we arrived that it was a public holiday, it didn't matter. The local people were so kind and obliging, and we came back feeling that it had been a very productive trip. The police returned our belongings to us later that day, thrown into a big black bin bag. Creased to hell, all a bit of a hassle. I hope it's worth it. Worth it, dear God, Case. We spent much of the weekend planning for the 100th day since Madeline's abduction, a milestone that could be reached on the 11th of August. 100 seems such a small number now. The milestone distance, but back then it felt like a lifetime, and that was to us. I couldn't bear to think how long it would feel to Madeline. In addition to holding a church service for our daughter, in which we wanted to involve the local community, we were eager to do something for all missing children. With the help of Google and NCMEC, we were preparing to launch I Don't Forget About Me channel on YouTube. We also had quite a few media interview head-ups. Meanwhile, the MPIA ground search continued. By Saturday, it had reached Murat's house. As Jerry and I left Justine's flat that afternoon, we noticed a mass of vehicles parked outside Casa Liliana. It wasn't long before the place was swamped by journalists, photographers, and satellite fans. We were not aware that the next day, apartment 5A would be re-examined, though we did see some activity there when we drove past on Sunday. If we had known, we'd have welcomed the news. The chances of anything being found there 3 months after the event seemed remote. Apart from anything else, the apartment had been left again several times since Madeline's disappearance, but it was another stone that should not remain unturned. It was on Monday, the 6th of August, that the atmosphere changed. At the police's request, Jerry went off to meet them at a cafe in Port Mayo. They didn't need me, they said, so I stayed in the villa and busied myself looking after the children and doing some work. Jerry returned minus the car. While he'd been in the cafe, the police had impounded it for forensic testing and brought him back to Praia de Luz themselves. Again, we assumed, at least initially, that this was a measure recommended by the police, by the British experts. Madeline had been missing for over 3 weeks when we hired the car, but perhaps it still needed to be ruled out of the investigation. That lunchtime, having collected the twins from Toddler Club, I was pushing them out of the Tapas reception entrance in the double buggy when we were suddenly ambushed by a horde of journalists and TV cameras. I felt completely exposed. I was confused too. We hadn't been bothered too much by the press for a good few weeks, and there had been loads of agreement that Sean and Amali would not be photographed. Something had changed. Cameras were clicking. Portuguese voices were firing questions at me, and the mood was suddenly hostile. Ocean Club staff helped us back inside and away from it. I realised I was shaking. It emerged there had been stories in some of the Portuguese papers that morning suggesting that Jerry was somehow involved in Madeline's disappearance. Sniffer dogs had discovered traces of Madeline's blood in apartment 5A, it was claimed. It was insinuated that she had died there and her body had been dumped in the sea. The following day, the press reported that a sample of blood had been sent to the UK to see whether a DNA profile could be extracted from it. Understandably, we were surprised and concerned. We had seen no blood that night, neither as far as we knew. None had ever been found by the police or the forensics team from Lisbon. Even if it was blood, and this was never proven, it could have come from any number of people who'd been in the apartment before or since Madeline's abduction. It could even have come from the abductor. Just supposing it was Madeline's, maybe she tripped over, had a slight nosebleed. To infer from it she was dead would be a preposterous leap. Yet it seemed it was the development, or to be precise, the interpretation put on it, either by the Portuguese press or by whoever leaked it, that was responsible for the media hysteria in Praia da Lua. We were given no information at all what was going on, but we were determined not to be derailed by the madness around us. We intended to take Sean and Amali to Toddle Club the next morning as usual, until Justine called to warn us of a media frenzy at the Ocean Club. We'd also discovered half a dozen photographers lurking outside our villa. We left as planned for the Bella Vista Hotel in Lou, where I was scheduled to be interviewed on BBC Radio 4's Woman Hour. It produced only light movements of the day. My cringeworthy response when Jenny Murray asked me how Jerry and I managed to keep all this. Sorry, guys. To keep all this going, I embarked on a spiel about how we both had different strengths and weaknesses, and elaborated by reeling off my husband's many talents and skills. Of course, Jenny then wanted to know what mine were. This was Woman's Hour after all. My mind went completely blank. I do the cooking. I managed eventually. Boy, do I know how to sell myself. One thing's for sure, whatever talents I may have, interview techniques isn't one of them. As soon as we finished the Woman's Hour, Jerry and I were approached by Steve Kingstone, a BBC journalist. He appeared generally worried. Do you know what they're saying? They're saying that you killed Madeline. I'm not sure if there was anything in the world that would have been more offensive to us. We agreed there and then to do an interview with the BBC's Richard Bilton for pooled broadcast. Jerry, keeping his fury in check, was calm and very firm. If the police have evidence that Madeline has come to any harm, then we as her parents have the right to be informed, he said in the interview. If we have to go back to square one and start again, then let's do it. Wednesday, the 8th of August, we had an early start to see off my mum, dad and Uncle Brian, who were flying home. As our car still hadn't been returned to us by the police, we enlisted the help of a lovely taxi driver who got to know in recent weeks. Despite the crowds of photographers, we manoeuvred the children into the Ocean Club without incident before heading for the Tivoli Hotel in Lagos to be interviewed for the BBC spiritually based magazine programme Heavens and Earth. Talking about our faith at the point as we teetered on the edge of a new pursuit was a little surreal, but somehow, against the odds, while it was taking a battering, we were both managing to cling on to it. In my wobbly moments, I sometimes wondered whether religion was more than a crutch to be leaned on when the going gets tough. Maybe it had been invented merely to maintain order in society, promoting compassion and justice of providing solace in the bad times. If so, that didn't make it a bad thing, just not what I'd been led to believe it was. Maybe religion is just for the weak. I remember saying to Trish during one dark spell of doubt, Kate, do you think Auntie Janet is weak? She replied, Janet has great faith in God, much deeper than mine. She is also one of the strongest people I know. Tricia didn't need to say any more. Back at the villa, Justine phoned me to tell us that Alex Wolfhall had been in touch on behalf of Mark Warner. He was sorry, but he had no choice but to ask us to stop using the toddler club. Apparently, several Ocean Club guests had complained about the media scrum outside the reception area, and of course, we were the reason it was there. I was so upset. The injustice of it all was starting to get to me. Poor Amali and Sean, they were the ones who would suffer. We tried so hard to provide them with stability, to make sure they had other children to play with and lots of activities, and now even this was to be taken away from them. My immediate reaction was to angrily blame these guests for their selfishness, but eventually I realised they were quite right to complain. Like us, they didn't want their children subjected to this frightening experience. No, it was the media who were at fault. As it turns out, Sean and Amali were able to return before too long. We worked out a system whereby one of the nannies would meet us at the 24-hour reception away from the other parents and children and take the twins onto the creche from there. J.O. Carlos returned our car at lunchtime, albeit with a piece missing from the boot. He said the Neds and Encarcio were ready to see us later that afternoon. Thank goodness, finally someone was going to explain to us exactly what was happening. Shea told us he would come and meet us at 3 p.m. near the police station to avoid the media. We wouldn't be going to the British consulate this time. On our way to Port Mayo, we dropped Auntie Janet, Sean and Amali at the home of Susan and Hayes Hubbard. If we'd wondered about the change of venue for our regular informal meeting, the reason for it soon became clear. This wasn't our regular informal meeting. We were taken to an upstairs room at the police station where we were greeted by Luis Neves and Guillermo Encarcio. Our interpreter this time was a police officer, not Proconsul Angela Moredo, or as was usually the case. The whole demeanour of Neves and Acacio was different. They looked serious and cold. There had been a shift in the investigation, she said. They had always been optimistic that Madeline was alive, but now things had changed. Almost instantaneously, I could feel my breathing pattern altering and that familiar constriction in my throat. Jerry asked if any evidence had come to light to suggest that Madeline was dead, but they wouldn't reply. There was a lot of throwing going on, which combining with the language barrier made it less obvious that they weren't answering us. Jerry was then asked to leave the room. Now the sirens in my head were deafening. I was on my own. I was afraid. Please God, let my Madeline be okay. Tell us about that night, they said. Tell us everything that happened after the children went to bed. I gave them every detail I could remember, as I had done before, but this time they responded by just staring at me and shaking their heads. I was reeling with confusion, disbelief, and panic. What the hell was going on? Evidently not satisfied with my account, they pressed me. Was there anything else I wanted to add? Anything else unusual that had occurred that night? Of course there wasn't. If there had been, I would have told them. I recounted absolutely everything and anything, more than they wanted or needed to know, probably just in case some triviality I recalled might be significant. How could they think I would hold something back that might help my daughter? Why were they asking me this? Why? Neb stated bluntly that they didn't believe my version of events. It didn't fit with what they knew. Didn't fit. What did they know? I was sobbing now, well past the stage of silent tears and stifled sniffs. I began to wail hysterically, drawing the breath in desperate gasps. Why did I think Madeline had been alive when she was taken from the apartment? They persisted. I explained between sobs there had been nothing to suggest otherwise, no indication that she might have come to harm. Had I ever considered that she may be dead? Yes, of course. Early on, that's all. I thought all the time that some paedophile had grabbed her, abused her, and later killed her. Then I began to wonder if she was being held by pornographers. I told them, or had been taken for someone who wanted a child. I was becoming more and more distressed and more scared. I wanted Jerry. Still, they pushed me. They proposed that when I put Madeline to bed that night, it wasn't actually the last time I'd seen her. But it was. It was. I felt I was being bullied, and I suppose I was. I assumed these tactics were deliberate to knock me off my balance by telling her that her daughter is dead and get her to confess, because I was in no doubt now that they were trying to make me say I'd killed Madeline or knew what had happened to her. I might be naive, but I'm not stupid. On and on it went. They tried to convince me I'd had a blackout, a loss of memory episode, I think they called it. My denials, answers, and pleas fell on deaf ears. This was their theory, and they wanted to shoehorn me into it. End of story. At last, they seemed to decide that the interview was over. They told me I could ring them any time, day or night, to give them the information they were waiting for. I was allowed to spend a couple of minutes with Jerry, but I don't think he was able to get much sense out of me. Then it was his turn to be interrogated. He managed to remain a little calmer than I had, but he was still visibly upset and shaken afterwards. He gave the police his account of events on the 3rd of May and the reasons why he didn't believe Madeline had been killed in the apartment. Through his tears, he pleaded with the two men. Do you have any evidence that Madeline is dead? We're her parents, you have to tell us. It's coming, Nebs told him, it's coming. Outside the room, I was praying, begging prayers. I was begging, asking, beginning to come unstuck. But if I thought the police had finished with me, I was mistaken. Before long, I was ordered back into the room to join Jerry for round 3. Once again, Jerry wanted to know if the case had now become a murder inquiry. The answer was indirect. You can probably guess that from our lack of response, in a slightly threatening manner. Luz asked why I wasn't looking at him straight in the eye. There was no reason other than I was incapable of looking at anyone properly. My own eyes were so swollen and sore that I was struggling to keep them from closing. Finally, Jerry tried to establish when and if we would be having another meeting with them. The next time we meet, it will be across the table. The message behind this rather Delphic statement was clear. There was to be no more informal meetings. Outside the police station, we were surrounded by the press. There was no need to talk. There was no need to ask how they knew we were there. On our way back to Lou, we had a call from Angela Morado, who had been informed by the police that her services would not be required at our meeting that afternoon. She'd naturally been concerned by this departure from the norm. Jerry spoke to her. I was too upset to talk to anybody. We drove first to the Hubbards to collect Sean and Amali and my aunt. When we calmed down a little and told them what had happened, we were presented with several shocked faces. Susan suggested I went and had a bath, as I was still pretty shaky. In her bathroom, I leaned over the wash basin and peered into the mirror. My eyes were narrow slits in fat purple lids. My blotchy face seemed to be aging by the day. Where are you, Madeline? What's happening? What's going to become of us all? Jerry's brother and his family arrived from the UK a short while later. We had to ask them to get a taxi from the airport and then smuggle them through the side entrance of the villa in order to shield our young niece and nephew from the media. Not quite the welcome they'd been expecting. It was inevitably a difficult evening. Jerry made several phone calls in search of help and advice, and we spoke to Alan Pike, who was sympathetic, understanding, and rational as always. We woke the next morning feeling deprived of sleep and generally quite awful, but Jerry at least managed to kick into gear and get on the phone again. Once he talked to Angela Morado and the British Embassy in Lisbon, we took refuge in Nossa Senhora de Luz for 15 minutes that day and the next, and a host of interviews scheduled to mark the 100th day since Madeline was taken from us. My immediate instinct was to cancel them all. I was tired out and there was more pressing issues to be dealt with, but that would have broken one of our rules. Keep your focus and don't let others push you off the track. We were doing these interviews for Madeline. If ever there was an extra incentive to mobilise every remaining shred of strength, this was it. Jerry had not initially liked our search being described as a campaign. Not only did it suggest a long-term quest, but the military imagery grated. Yet there we were, 100 days later, involved in skirmishes on several fronts. The term was beginning to seem more appropriate by the day. The interviews had all taken place in a villa on the Maya Prey in Lagos. It was a terrible day. Both the atmosphere and the line of questioning followed by the press were intensely and antagonistic. Their focus, dictated by the behaviour of both the police and some sections of the media over the past few days, was very different from ours. We wanted to talk about 100 days without Madeline, the search and the launch of Don't You Forget About Me on YouTube. They wanted to talk about blood and dogs. It's all a bit of a blur now, but I do remember one journalist persisting sceptically with a familiar thread. Why has Madeline got all this attention? How have you managed to run this campaign when you have lost your daughter? Jerry and I both replied, well, what would you do? I don't know. Come on, what would you do if this was your child? Would you do nothing? He didn't reply. We felt like two lone figures with catapults fighting in an army. What made it worse was our distress that all the time and effort we put into publicising the 100-day landmark and the plight of other missing children was being trampled underfoot. It was exasperating and disrespect and injustice we felt on Madeline's behalf. It was very hard to stomach. Later, Angela and Cecilia Edwards, who were taking over from Bill Henderson, a British consul, came over to the villa to discuss the recent problems with the media and the way we had been treated by the police. Alan Pike also flew out from the UK on a mercy mission. We were very grateful for the opportunity to reconnect with him face to face. For a dose of his calm, considered advice, it had all helped to strengthen our armour. Saturday, the 11th of August, 2007. Here we were, day 100, a day we'd hoped we'd never reach. There was a horrible, sad inevitability about it. It was a day when we would be buoyed up by the loving kindness one minute and brought crashing down the next. At 11 a.m, Jerry and I walked down the little church we loved, where Susan and Haynes' husbands and Auntie Janet, with the help of many others, had organised a 100-day of hope service for Madeline and the missing children everywhere. On this occasion, we saw the massive media presence outside as a positive sign. They were not here today about blood and dogs, and it was important to us to show the world that we weren't giving up or giving in. The service was beautiful and uplifting. The church was full, with many Portuguese people amongst the congregation, which mattered very much to us. Haynes led the service. He is such a strong man. His trust in God unwavering, especially when the going gets tough. At one point during his sermon, he made the point that it would be the easy option for everyone to turn away from Jerry and me right now. What we badly needed at that time, he declared, was their support. Jerry and I both got up to say a few words. We were just so grateful that the local people had stood by us throughout these 100 days. To know they were rooting for Madeline, regardless of the nonsense which they were being bombarded by the press, filled us with warmth and strength. If we could be stronger then, so would the hope for Madeline. We left Newester Church to unexpected and rather overwhelming applause, as I wrote in my diary later. I have no doubt a local Portuguese community are behind us. We were kissed to death again. For Sean and Marley, today was just another day. It wasn't always possible for us to paint on brave faces for them, but we did try. They were growing up before our eyes, and we didn't want to inflict additional confusion, worry, or sadness on them. After the service, we took them and the rest of our family group up to the Millennium area of the resort. The children loved splashing about in the pool there and even had a little knockabout on the tennis courts. It melted my heart to watch them playing so happily, oblivious of the shattered lives around them. Earlier in the day, Jerry had called Ricardo Paiva Oleguero de Sousa and given a statement to the BBC regarding new evidence. New evidence that had emerged and indicating that Madeline may be dead. He went on to say that family and friends were not suspects. We tried to explain to Ricardo that we desperately needed to know what was going on. The chaotic and upsetting events and rumours of recent days and the complete lack of real information were compounding our already unbearable agony. Rather to our surprise, Ricardo phoned later to say that he was on his way round to see us. When he arrived, Ricardo explained this evidence a little further. His tone was sombre as he told us about 2 Springer Spaniels that had been brought out to Portugal by the British police to assist in the search. Keela, who could alert her handler to the tiniest trace of blood, had done so in apartment 5A. Eddie, a victim recovery or cadaver dog trained to detect human remains, had indicated that somebody died there. Test results on the samples taken from the flat were awaited from a forensic laboratory in the UK. I trusted Ricardo back then, but I struggled to understand how, never mind why, somebody could have killed Madeline and removed her body within such a short time frame. It just didn't make sense. And like the business of the blood, this evidence of death seemed tenuous in the extreme. The police appeared to be telling us on the say-so of a dog that someone had defiantly died in apartment 5A, and since nobody else they knew of had passed away there, it must have been Madeline. Supposing she had been killed, and we think this extremely unlikely, she must have been taken out of the apartment within minutes. Did they really believe that a dog could smell the odour of death 3 months later from a body that had been removed so swiftly? They were adding 2 and 2 and coming up with 10. But of course, to me, as Madeline's mother, it didn't have to make sense at this point. The merest suggestion from Ricardo that it was even possible she had been killed in that flat was like a knife being twisted in my chest. My eyes, so tired of tears, succumbed to them yet again. So Madeline's dead. Psychopath. Burglary gone wrong. I need a body before I can believe this. I just can't stop this. I can't accept it. God, let them be wrong. It's hard to imagine that anything could have brought a glimmer of light into that dark evening, but a remark by Bill Kenwright, the chairman of Everton FC, made the world seem slightly less awful than it had been a second before. Our family were watching television when the Premiership highlights came on. Not only were many of the players wearing Madeline's t-shirts and wristbands, but Bill, when asked about the pressure facing clubs and managers at the start of the new season, replied that it was nothing compared with the pressure Jerry and I were under. Although we hadn't had any direct contact with Bill, We knew that he had supported the search for Madeline from the start and had encouraged others to do so. The fact that hadn't forgotten her and still publicly showing his solidarity really touched us. I'm just going to have a drink, guys. The following 3 weeks felt like an eternity. It was like being on some kind of endurance course run by sadists. The newspapers in both Portugal and the UK churned out endless damning pieces that were at best speculative and mostly complete fabrications. We were living in a luxury penthouse with a swimming pool. We drank 14 bottles of wine on the night that Madeline was abducted. A syringe containing a tranquilizer had been found in our apartment on the night. It was all so offensive and unjust. While selling papers and making money, these stories were effectively distorting the opinions of the readership, especially in Portugal, where our daughter needed help the most. Cultural differences were open to misinterpretation. The fact that our children slept for 10 or 12 hours a night, for example, were perceived by many people in Portugal as outlandish, if not in the circumstances downright suspicious. Then the Portuguese remain elephants of Southern European lifestyle, which traditionally involves a longer break in the middle of the day than we are used to, and later nights. Proper leisurely lunches, rather than a snatch sandwich, are not uncommon, followed in some places by naps for adults and kids alike. Even small children stay up for late night meals with the grown ups. It's a lovely way of life, but not one practiced by many of us in more northerly climes. Evidently, it didn't matter to the newspaper editors whether there was any truth in these tales or not. Well, it mattered to Jerry and me, and it mattered to our family and friends. Above all, it mattered for Madeline. The media's constant refrain was that keeping Madeline in the headlines could only be a good thing. I beg to differ. Meanwhile, the police say nothing in spite of our attempts to find out. We had no idea what was happening with the investigation. We knew they planned to interview us again, and we wanted to get this over with and clear up any concerns they had. We didn't even know if anyone was looking for our daughter anymore. It had just been about it. It just was about able to cope, but when we had at least some information, the silence was way too much to bear. 15th of August. The whole situation seems to be getting more unbelievable. We've always said that whatever happens, we need to know the truth. I never thought that this would include the need for us to have our names cleared. What is going on with these people? Where is the common sense? Dear God, please bless and protect our Madeline, wherever she is. Please give us, our families, the strength to get through this. Please give the police the wisdom, intelligence, and honesty to solve the crime and find Madeline. Amen. Life went on, of course. Relatives and friends came and went, to be replaced by more relatives and friends, all of whom continued to do a sterling job, providing both emotional support and practical help. We carried on giving interviews when appropriate. We had no idea if this was helping or not, but we had to do something. We went to church often, sometimes several times a day for masses, vigils, private prayer, and reflection. We made phone calls, wrote and replied to emails and letters. We spent time with Sean and Amali, playing games, reading stories, watching movies, and taking trips to the beach, to the zoo, or the cafe. Nothing of it was getting us anywhere. 17th of August. Finding it hard to talk to anyone at the moment, as I'm full of so many negative emotions: anger, bitterness, frustration, desperation. It doesn't make you a very nice person. Jerry had been talking for some while now, about us going home. He reasoned that we could achieve just as much there in terms of the campaign, probably more. He also felt that if we were back in Rotherley, the media attention would quieten down a bit, Certainly in the Portuguese press, where the worst smear was originating, at home it would be much easier for our friends and relations to support us, and better for us all emotionally. Although the twins seemed quite happy, it had to be said that our life in Praia de Lu was quite artificial. Not that life at home was going to be normal by any stretch of the imagination, and they needed stability in the long term. I appreciated all of this. The thought of some respite from the poisonous headlines was balm for the soul. It would be lovely for Sean and Amali to be back in their own bedroom, playing in their own garden, and going back to nursery to reestablish the friendships. I realised that they needed to reconnect with home. It had recently emerged that they believed Madeline was at our house in Rothley, worried that the pyramid of information they are building in their heads might not be structurally sound. Jerry rang the child psychologist David Tricky for advice. It broke my heart to hear Jerry explaining gently to the children afterwards that Madeline wasn't there. Sean looked quite confused and perhaps a bit scared, but they accepted it. However, for many weeks, I fought against the idea of going home, even considering it was enormous and emotional and psychological mountain for me to climb. We had always said we would not leave without Madeline, and I still felt that we needed to do would be to, we couldn't abandon her. In mid-July, I had slowly started to come round to Jerry's way of thinking. We had to return sometime after all. But now, a month later, with matters taking a turn for the worse, there was even more reason to stay. If we didn't, it would feel as if we were caving into the bullying tactics of the media and the police. We were beginning to suspect that there was an agenda to force us out of the country and take the pressure off the police. I had no intention of allowing that to happen. It was a difficult dilemma. Before I could think about going, I had to completely confident in my own mind that I would not be leaving Madeline, that we were not capitulating to any such agenda, and that we were not giving up. 19th of August, Madeline, sweetheart, it's not getting any easier. It's not getting any easier at this end. I just have to hope that whoever's with you loves you too and is treating you kindly and fairly. 20th of August. The news today suggests that we're going to arrest a new suspect in the UK. It's likely to be more tabloid fabrication. There's so much shit that's been written, much of it is outrageous, and coupled with the voids of information from the police, who knows what's going on. By the time we felt as if we'd been completely cut adrift, the police ignored us. We were up against a convoluted system neither of us really understood, and the media juggernaut was now well truly out of control. If we were going to have any chance of protecting ourselves, we needed somebody familiar with the system, a Portuguese lawyer to represent our interests. Later that day, Jerry contacted Carlos Pinto Abreu, a human rights lawyer in Lisbon, who'd been recommended to us, and arranged for us to go and see him the following afternoon. We left Lisbon at lunchtime with our kind and trustworthy taxi driver. At his office, Carlo was joined by 3 colleagues and his wife and a doctor who helped with interpretation when needed. We took them through as much as we could the night of the 3rd of May, our relationship with the police, the leaks to the media, and the scandalous headlines. We felt better knowing that Carlos and his team would be able to advise us. A bit upset on the way back. I had flashes of Madeline in my head, being hurt, abused, and screaming for us. But we weren't there. Just so awful. We arrived in Praia de Lu late in the evening and discovered Sean and Amali in bed. They were quiet but still awake, which I have to admit secretly pleased me. I needed them with me. Thank God for Sean and Amali. On 23rd of August, we did an interview with a Spanish TV news programme in Justine's flat. We had a pre-interview chat with the team about the topics we were unable to talk about, such as the investigation and areas we felt it was important to highlight to help our search. The main reason why we couldn't discuss the investigation, obviously, was that we could say very little without breaking the judicial secrecy law. In any case, as we were being kept in the dark, we didn't know much about it ourselves by this stage. Making public any details we had been told could jeopardise the investigation, not least by alerting the abductor. We were not prepared either to get into a debate about the continuing speculation and lies in the media. It was stifling in the small flat. It was a hot August day, hotter still under the TV's arc lights, and we were pretty uncomfortable before we even started. We readied ourselves for the interviewer's first question. It was about the investigation, and his second question about the investigation, as was the third. Blood and dogs were mentioned again. It was as if the conversation we'd had a few minutes earlier had never taken place. After 5 or so of these unanswerable prompts, Jerry, who was suffering badly from the heat, removed his mic and left. Visibly exasperated and upset, given the interviewer the benefit of the doubt, he was bound to push up with something new. I carried on, attempting patiently and politely to explain why my husband had reacted as he had. In spite of having had my fingers burnt so many times since Madeline's abduction, I've always believed in trying to see good in people, at least until they give you cause to do otherwise. Not everyone repays such faith. Telecino aired our interview that weekend. Its main focus wasn't Madeline, or the search, or the campaign. Far too dull and samey clearly now. The whole piece was centred on their big scoop, Jerry storming off. The papers gleefully reproduced stills of Madeline's distressed father, headlined Jerry Cracks, as our grannies used to say, you live and learn. Meanwhile, Jerry had flown to Scotland to appear at the Edinburgh TV Festival. This had been arranged back in early June, when he had reasons that if Madeline was still missing by the time the day came around, press coverage would have died down and the event would present us with a good opportunity to remind people of the campaign. The fact that this interviewer would be Kirsty Walk, the highly respected Newsnight presenter who had grown up a few miles down the road from him in Kilmarnock, had certainly influenced his decision to accept the invitation. On the Friday, he was given a telephone interview from Edinburgh to the Daily Telegraph when he was asked to comment on an article that had appeared that day on the front page of the Portuguese news. God, I've lost my spec. Oh yeah. Under the headline, Police believe parents killed Maggie. I think this was probably the last straw for Jerry, and he completely lost it. I was equally gobsmacked. Initially, my fury was directed not at the police, but at the paper for running such ridiculous, disgusting nonsense. The basis of the Edinburgh Festival interview was the international impact of the Find Madeline's campaign and how it had been brought about. Now, of course, the serious discussion would be taking place amid a media firestorm. Jerry gave several additional interviews in Scotland in which he appealed to journalists to report responsibly. For the most part, his pleas were ignored. When I heard that my mum had got wind of the telly story and the rumours it had prompted, I phoned her. She was so distraught she could hardly get a word out. I texted GCS Bob, saying how disappointed I was that the police were claiming Madeline was dead, without any evidence, and how unsupported we have felt recently. As our main liaison with the British police, Bob was not privy to the investigation's details. This was for our protection, he told us, as sharing knowledge we would otherwise not have had could potentially compromise us. In the light of the volume of information being released into the public domain by police sources via the media, this seems partial now. It did emerge, however, that Bob had concerns of his own. He explained that the British police regarded the use of sniffer dogs as intelligence rather than evidence, and he was perplexed at the apparent fixation of the police on the idea that Madeline had died in the apartment. He told Jerry he thought they'd get a shock when the forensic result came back. The next day, Jerry rang Ken Jones, head of ACPO, the Association of Chief Police Officers. He too was beginning to despair of the investigation and the way it's being handled. It was good to know we weren't alone and that we weren't going totally mad. But why wouldn't anyone speak to us about this? Many people in top positions were saying the right things to us privately, but it seemed nobody could or would do anything about it. If someone had stood up and said, "Stop, this is all wrong," things could have been very different. Carlos advised us to sue the paper. We did begin proceedings, but shortly afterwards the paper went bust. We found ourselves with bigger problems and we decided not to pursue the matter through the Portuguese courts. Sadly, although the paper's article was certainly ridiculous and disgusting, it was not incredibly nonsense. I'm not saying the police did believe we had killed Madeline. I have never for 1 second thought that. What became clear to us, however, was that some faction within the police was being indeed the source of the story. We can only assume that their objective was to make everyone else believe it. In order to solve the case, they were under immense pressure to conclude. What better way was there to achieve that to harness the power of the media? So much for the law of judicial secrecy. I hasten to add that I do not mean to tar all the Portuguese police with the same brush. There were many officers who worked very hard on the case, certainly earlier on, and their efforts seemed to get to the truth were being undermined by those disgraceful actions just as surely as ours were. On Monday, the 27th of August, I had a call from Esther McVeigh, a Liverpool friend from my late teens, by then a television presenter and Conservative parliamentary candidate. Esther was on the board of Madeline's Fund. She said she was scared. She was scared by our current situation and uncomfortable with what she felt was a political shift. For our own safety and to protect Madeline's good name, I wasn't quite sure what she meant by that. She thought we ought to come home. It seemed I was being pressurised from all quarters and I didn't like it. As it happened, however, the very same day, we learned that we would have to vacate our villa by the 11th of September. News that put a different complexion on matters and forced Jerry and me to tackle the difficult and emotionally charged issue. We could have rented somewhere else in Praia de Leu, of course, but it would have been a lot of hassle for not much gain if we were intending to leave before long anyway. We had waited in vain for the police to call us back for interview. Finally, and very reluctantly, I agreed to set a date for our departure. Monday, the 10th of September, it would have to be. It was one of the toughest decisions I have ever had to take. I knew, though, that I would be returning to Lou when I could to reconnect with the last place I'd seen Madeline and to remind the authorities that I was not going to allow my daughter's disappearance to be forgotten. I could just imagine the police and the government rubbing their hands with glee at seeing the back of us and wrapping up the case with unseemly haste. I hope to God I was wrong. That Wednesday, I began to sort out some of our belongings ahead of our return to Rothley, packing clothes we wouldn't need before we left and putting surplus toys into big bags for local orphanages. The village was heaving with toys, teddies and games sent by kind-hearted members of the public, not only for Madeline, but for the twins too. We were so touched and they all provided lots of entertainment, but we couldn't possibly keep them all. The very idea of leaving Portugal without Madeline made me feel sick. Who'd have thought, when the 5 of us had landed here in April, full of excitement, that only 4 of us would be going home? The reality of what we were doing was killing me. A couple of days later, I was going through the children's DVDs when I came across Madeline's favourite Barbie, The Princess and the Pauper. She loved that film, and she loved the two main characters, the princess and the poor village girl. If it was an Erica day, she'd say, "Mummy, you pretend to be Annalise, and I'll be Erica." The next day our roles would be swapped. I could see Madeline now, with her pink princess blanket over her head, the corners pulled together under her chin like a little headscarf, singing "If I Was a Girl Like You." Sean and Mally and me were talking about Madeline quite a lot. I wore a locket with a picture of Madeline inside, and Mally had taken to opening it. Seeing Madeline, she'd say, "Night, nice, Madeline," and then she would give her a kiss. Started to feel a bit funny again. My fear for Madeline is creeping back. It's so hard to block it. Sometimes I wonder if I should try and pretend that she never existed to make it easier, but I can't. Thursday, the 30th of August, was another milestone we had hardly bear to think about. It should have been Madeline's big moment, her first day at school. She'd be so looking forward to this. She had talked about it excitedly while in my mind's eye I had pictured her in class having fun and making lots of new mates. Now all her friends would be starting without her. It was an awful day. Every hour I'd see her standing there in a new uniform smiling at me. I cried and I prayed, and I held my husband and children tightly. We could make things right for her. If only we could get it back. We could work through anything and everything she'd endured. We would make sure that her life was full and happy, and as it should have always been. Clement Froze returned to Prior Day Lou on the 31st of August and called Jerry that day. "Is it true, Jerry?" he said, without preamble. "What's that, Clement? That you're close to a breakdown and needing medication?" "Very funny. I have a lot of empathy with the express though. You know," he went on. For a split second, Jerry thought he was serious. "Why's that?" "Well, you see, we both suffer from poor circulation. Thank God for people like Clement who kept us smiling." On the night of the 1st of September, I dreamed about Madeline for the first time in 4 months. I was astonished that this hadn't happened before. The workings of the mind are impossible to fathom. It was a good thing it hadn't, because it was such a dreadful experience, far more painful than anything that had occurred to me in real life since the night she was taken. I'm not sure I could have survived it in the early weeks. We had a call from one of the girls at the children's nursery school. "Guess what?" she said. "Madeline's here. She's been here for a couple of days. She's fine." We rushed to the nursery immediately, and sure enough, there she was, our Madeline. She looked beautiful, just as I remembered her. I ran over to her, my face split the widest smile, the tears running down my cheeks, and just held her and held her and held her. Although I was dreaming, I could feel her. It was as if parts of my body that had been hibernating for 4 months suddenly began to stir. I could sense the cold dark days lifting. I was in the warmth and the light, and Madeline was holding me, her little arms wrapped tightly around me, and I felt so good. I could smell her, I could feel her with every one of my senses as I soaked up this heavenly moment. My Madeline, I wanted to stay like this forever, and then I woke up. Ice began to course through my body, driving out every endorphin and remnant of warmth. I didn't understand. What was happening? How could this be? I could still feel her. A heavy boot connected with my stomach, and the ache in my chest was worse than I'd ever known it. I was struggling for breath, almost as if I was being strangled. "Please, God, don't let it go. Stay with me, Madeline. Please stay with me. Don't go. Stay with Mummy, please, sweetheart. Hold on, Madeline. Please hold on. I love you so much." I started to cry. The crying, now I'm near crying. The crying built into submissive sobs and unearthly sounds like the howl of a wounded animal, was coming out of my mouth. The crushing pain in my chest intensified to the point of where I thought I was going to die. I'd been with her, and then she was gone again. The day after the dream had been a difficult one that night. I'd gone to bed with puffy eyes. I woke on the morning of Monday, 3rd of September, with puffier ones. There was a phone call from Ricardo. He'll be coming over later as he needed Jerry to sign some release forms so that the emails relating to the Dutch extortion attempt could be used as evidence in court. Alan Pike was back in Prior Day Lou today to see how we were coping with recent events and our preparations for returning to the UK the following Monday. We spent several hours talking about my low episodes and the support we were going to need at home. He reassured us that he'd be keeping in touch with us. Hold on, guys, I have to wipe my eyes. I can't see. Oh. Whew. Oh my God, Lenny. That really got to me then. It's terrible. You just felt the pain, don't you? Oh. Okay, where was I then? Jerry and I spoke of the craziness going around us, the media speculation, the lies, and the change in the attitude and the behaviour of the police. At one point, I remarked sardonically they would be hauling us in as suspects next. Now you're wandering into fantasy land, replied Alan. At 4:30 p.m., Ricardo arrived with a female colleague and the forms Jerry needed to complete. After his colleague left with the paperwork, Ricardo asked if we had any queries he could answer. Do you have any information for us? I inquired. He clarified with us the date of our planned departure back to the UK and told us that the police wanted to interrogate me on Wednesday and Jerry on Thursday. We'd waited almost 4 weeks for these interviews, and it was obvious that they had been hastily arranged once Bob Small notified the police that we would be leaving the country. Otherwise, why now? As far as we knew, they didn't have the forensic results back yet. What are you doing? We should bring our lawyer with us to the police station, Ricardo went on. Jerry smelled a rat. The law had changed now, but back then, witnesses were not normally entitled to legal representation. It isn't unusual for witnesses to be questioned with their lawyer present. It was like pulling teeth, but these teeth would have been falling out very soon anyway. We were not going to be questioned as witnesses. Ricardo finally admitted, so this will be our status then. Jerry pressed him. It's called Aguido, as if we'd never heard the words. I dropped my head in my hands in utter disbelief. I began to shake and cry. I shouted at Ricardo, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? I can't believe what's going on. This is despicable. I shook my head over and over again. This can't be happening. This just cannot be true. What kind of country is this? And while the police were going down the track, leading the media and public to believe we were responsible for our daughter's disappearance, who was looking for Madeline? I remember crying out in despair. What will our parents think? How will they cope with this? What are they trying to do? Are they trying to destroy our family completely? They would, of course, questions, but they would subsequently be thrown back at me as some kind of proof of a guilty conscience. My remark about our parents in particular was perceived as strange and suspicious. To me, it was a completely understandable reaction. We love our parents and were greatly concerned about their health and emotional state. They had lost their granddaughter. They had seen their own son and daughter in extreme pain and distress on every aspect of our characters ripped to shreds. They'd been through so much already, and now this. Tricia and Eileen were staying with us for what was intended to be our final week in lieu. Hearing the commotion from the next room, They were playing with Sean and O'Malley. They came running in demanding to know what was happening. Within seconds, there were more tears and more shouts of dismay and disbelief. Once again, things were going from bad to worse, much worse. Ricardo left, looking every inch the sheepish messenger boy he was. We were left with our minds wailing. My immediate worry was O'Malley and Sean. If this was farce continued in the same vein as we ended up being formally accused of doing something to Madeline, people were going to start calling for the twins to be taken away from us. I could feel a panic building up inside me. Between sobs, I blazed out my fears to Tricia and Eileen. It's hard to describe their response, but if you picture two lionesses whose young are under the threat of their lives, it will give you the general idea. Remembering it now actually brings a little smile to my face. Hell hath no fury, like two women from Glasgow. That won't happen. We won't allow it to happen. Nobody will get near them. They wouldn't stand a chance. Don't even think like that, Kate, they growled, their eyes flashing with the conviction. But I was still worried. Our plans for the evening went out of the window. We cancelled an interview where we scheduled with Paris Match and dinner with Clement Freud. Jerry rang DCS Bob Small, who was astounded by the latest development. He promised to make some phone calls. Bob was finally able to get hold of Lewis Nebbs, who was reportedly out of the country. Louis claimed not to know anything about it. We made several more frantic phone calls ourselves, including one to Alan Pike, to let him know that we would now be entering Fantasyland. After dinner with the family, Jerry and I got Sean and O'Malley ready for bed together. We would do whatever it took to protect our precious family and to make it whole again. Sean was so gentle as I was laying with them tonight. He gave me 2 kisses on the lips and put his arm around me while O'Malley was chatting. At 9:50 p.m, I rang Clement. Come on round, he said. It'll be nice to see you, but you'll have to forgive my nighttime attire. We found Clement watching a cookery programme, dressed as promised in his nightshirt. It was so ordinary and comforting, a bit like going to see your granddad after a horrible day at school. He gave me one of his looks and a giant glass of brandy and managed to get a smile out of me with his greeting. So, Kate, which of the devout Catholic, alcoholic, depressed, nymphomaniac parts is correct? His response to our catalogue of horrors was merely to raise an eyebrow. Clement had this way of making everything seem a little less terrible. When he heard about the dogs, he was remarkably laconically, so what are they going to do? Put them on the stand? 1 bark for yes, 2 for no. He was right, of course. It was ridiculous. A couple of hours later, fortified by our brandies, it was my first ever taste of the stuff. Some useful snippets of advice and several amusing anecdotes, we left our friend feeling quite a bit better than we'd arrived. The shock of that day and of what we were now facing on top of the trauma of Madeline's absence never left us for a second, but it was interludes like this that gave us just enough strength to carry on. By the next morning, photographers were appearing outside of our villa. There were press hanging around outside, the church and film crews hanging outside the church, and film crews prepared to chase us through the streets, either on foot or in the car. It was irritating and wearing. Occasionally, Justine would ask us to give something to the photographers to appease them. They're under a lot of pressure too, and we ended up reluctantly allowing them to snap us going into the church and sitting on the rocks. We could hardly have stopped them anyway, short of refusing to leave the villa. But we were not happy about it. This wasn't about us. It was about Madeline, which was precisely what we'd been striving. Later, we were invited to Susan and Haynes Hubbard's house. It was a relaxing and enjoyable afternoon, as was possible right then. Sean and O'Malley splashed about in the pool, built train tracks and played babies with dolls. Susan prepared a delicious meal, initiating the twins into the delights of king prawns, which they loved ever since. Thanks, Susan. and the children, including our two, made the pudding a banana split for everyone. Boy, were Sean and Amalie proud of themselves. Susan and Hayes were and remain such a great source of strength. Sometimes you wonder whether particular people are brought into your life at a particular time for a reason. It certainly seemed to me that the Hubbards were a gift from God. This afternoon was so ordinary, but that's precisely why it was so valuable to us. We long for our life to be ordinary again. In the meantime, these fleeting intervals of normality, precious time amongst friends with Sean and Amalie, were the closest we could get to it. Perhaps they always would be. These days are so painful, and everything is tinged. How long can we go on living like this? There are days when I just want to fast forward all of our lives so they'll be over with no more pain, and we'll all be together again. Wednesday, the 5th of September, our interviews with the police had been put back by a day because of our lawyer, Carlos, was in court and unable to present. Instead, we filled the day with emails, phone calls, and packing. We met up with Justine to discuss what steps needed to be taken to ensure that our return to Britain would be as quiet as possible. When Jerry and I went out for a run later, we saw Justine again, hurriedly approaching us from the top of the hill. The Evening Standard's front page headlines tonight, she informed us, was to be results back, arrests imminent. That would certainly set the cat amongst the pigeons on the eve of our interrogation. It might sound flippant now, but at the time, this was no joke, believe me. Since the police had not decided to inform us, we had no idea whether the results of the forensic tests in the UK were really back, let alone what, if anything, they'd revealed. Jerry and I talked at some length about the police's strategy, or our perception of it, namely to put it under such extreme pressure with the help of leaks to their contacts in the media, that if we were guilty, or even if we weren't, we'd crack. And the pressure was indeed immense. We were both used to working under high stress with critically ill patients, for example, but this was different. This was a situation of which we had no control whatsoever. We still harboured a faint hope that in the end the police would not declare us as our Guidos. Maybe our readiness to stay in Portugal to address any questions that remained would have been thwarted their attempt to cast us as a bad light in the court of public opinion. Maybe the interview on the 8th of August, when they clearly tried to get me to confess, had been their best shot at getting us to crack, and since that hadn't worked, they would now change tacks. There again, they hadn't eased up on the pressure, and fresh lies were appearing in the media every day. As I say, it was a faint hope. I got myself ready for the following day. Clothes out, shower, hair washed, even a DIY leg wax. It sounds daft now, but I knew that it would help if I felt confident and good about myself. And how exactly are you supposed to prepare for being interrogated in a foreign language about the abduction of your child? All I could do was to tell the police the truth again and hope that this was what they were actually interested in. Dear God, first and foremost, please bless and protect dear Madeline. Please help to return her to us as soon as you can. Give us a family the strength to get through this ordeal. Thank you. The Algarvian wind was wild and menacing overnight, howling eerily, sweeping across the walls of the villa and battering the shutters backwards and forwards. Not surprisingly, it was a restless and unsettling night, and we were all awake at 4 in the morning. Jerry and I got up at 8 to find a posse of Portuguese journalists and cameramen camped outside our villa. You'd have thought we'd have been used to this by now, but we never got used to it, and today especially, we felt hounded and trapped. I was due at the police station in Port Mayo at 2 o'clock. We followed our regular morning routine, taking Sean and Amalie to the Toddle Club via the Ocean Club's 24-hour reception. Then we walked down to the church for half an hour of private prayer, with the press pack still in pursuit. At least once we were in the church and had closed the doors, calm descended instantly, and we were able to concentrate on what we were there for. We prayed fervently for Madeline, for strength, and for justice. We stayed on for the Anglican service at 9:30, led as usual by Haynes. He had the rest of the worshippers present that morning, wrapped us in kindness and support. We thanked them and urged them not to lose sight of what was important, Madeline, and to keep it in their thoughts and prayers. Jerry phoned my mum to explain what was happening and what was likely to happen, including the probability that we would be made agreeders. Of course, she was extremely upset. I know how helpless our parents must have felt at home and how it must have compounded their fears and their frustration. Strangely, I was feeling okay. I think by now I'd switched on to autopilot, and an inner strength and calmness I hadn't expected to find had begun to take over. My instinct to protect my child was more powerful than my fear, and I could see very clearly what needed to be done. Even thinking about it several years later, that sensation returns. My recollections of that day are almost clinical, and I suppose the situation was so extreme, so nonsensical, that my brain struggled to register it as real. I had somehow floated out of my body and was watching events unfold as they were happening to somebody else. At 1:15 p.m, Jerry drove me to the police station in Port Mayo. Trish came along for moral support. There were hordes of people outside the police station, as well as the ever-present journalists and photographers and film crews. There was perhaps more disconcertingly a crowd of local onlookers. Justine, in a vivid blue dress, was trying with some difficulty to keep them all under control. Jerry gave me a kiss and whispered, "Love you," and I headed for the door with Tricia at my side. Immediately, my path was blocked by jostling bodies and camera lenses. Unless they wanted a mother on a mission colliding with them, they would have to move, and sure enough, they all frantically shuffled backwards as I reached them standing on each other's toes, tripping over one another and falling down. I just kept walking. Carlos Pinto Diablo and his assistant Sophia were waiting for me inside. Carlos told me he already had a long discussion with Lewis Nebbs. It wasn't looking good, he said. Not an encouraging start. At 2:30 p.m, half an hour after the interview had been due to begin, Ricardo handed me a list of interpreters and instructed me to pick one. Not only was it exasperating that this hadn't been sorted out in advance, it also seemed pointless to ask me to make the choice. What difference did it make? I didn't know any of them. I opted for the first name on the list. If nothing else, she was local to Port Mayo, and I didn't want to have to wait hours for one of the others to arrive from Lisbon or wherever. Accompanied by Carlos, Sophia, and the interpreter, who turned out to be a lady in her 60s or thereabouts, originally from Mozambique, I finally went in for my interview at 2:55. There were 3 police officers in the room. Jose Carlos and Ricardo Paiva were joined by Paulo Ferreira, a man I'd never met before. Jose Carlos asked most of the questions, all of which I answered in as much detail as I could. He started with Tuesday night of our holiday, moving on to the Wednesday and then the terrible Thursday. At one point early on, something was read out from my initial statement given on the 4th of May. It wasn't quite accurate, and I explained to the officer that the original meaning seemed to have been lost slightly in translation. To my astonishment, the interpreter became quite angry and suddenly interrupted. "What are you saying? That we interpreters can't do our job? The interpreter will only have translated what you told her." I was staggered. Quite apart from the fact that in this instance, she was wrong. This definitely wasn't what I'd said. Surely, as an interpreter, is there to interpret, not to interfere in the process. My trust in her took a dive. At 5 p.m., we had a 15-minute break, which I spent standing in the corridor outside the interrogation room. Collis came over and told me not to be so definite in some of my answers. He was referring apparently to a couple of claims by witnesses put to me by the questioning officer, allegations that they had seen Jerry or me doing this or that, and these claims were untrue. I had said so. I couldn't understand why. As long as I was certain a statement was wrong, I couldn't refute it. Although Carla's stance bothered me, I tried to make his guidance on board, but it did rather undermine my confidence. When the interview resumed, the atmosphere still seemed quite amiable. It didn't feel intimidated or threatened, and I remained eager to give the police as many details as I could, especially as I was aware that a lot of what I had to tell them could have been sought in the immediate hours of the days after Madeline's disappearance. The more information was available to the police, I reasoned the more complete the jigsaw would be and the greater the chance of us finding Madeline. We stopped again at 7:50 p.m., supposedly for 5 minutes. I was getting tired by now and hoping it would all be finished fairly soon. No such luck. Those 5 minutes stretched into 22 and a quarter hours. Carlos had disappeared into a meeting with several of the police officers, and I was starting to feel upset and frustrated. It had been a long day, and I wanted to be back at the villa with my family. Trish had been patiently waiting all the time too, sitting in the reception area in a fog of cigarette smoke. Meanwhile, in Priory Lou, Jerry was becoming increasingly worried. I heard later that he'd twice come back to Port Mayo in the hope of collecting Tricia and me. At midnight, he was sent home. Our lawyer would bring us back, he was told. As Carlos reappeared, he was shaking his head and looked anxious. I had no idea what had been going on, but it was rapidly becoming clear that things was not as straightforward as I had hoped. It was 12:40 a.m. by the time the interview and the attendant rigmarole of having it translated into Portuguese and then read back to me in English by the interpreter was over. I was told I would have to return at 10 o'clock in the morning. Outside the room, Paulo Ferreira stopped me in the corridor and said in a portentous tone, "You must go back now and listen very carefully to your lawyer. He has something important to say to you." I left the station with Trish, Carlos, and Sophia a little after 1 a.m. The lateness of the hour had not deterred the hundreds of cameramen and spectators waiting to go at me as I emerged exhausted from the main door to the now familiar rapid clicking of whirring of the cameras, squinting into the dark against the flash bulbs. Was this real? Was this actually my life? Carlos gave a statement to the crowd. It was in Portuguese, so I cannot tell you what he said, except that my status remained that of a witness. As we pulled away in Carlos's car, I remember catching the eye of a young British photographer we got to know over the previous few months. Like the rest, he'd been desperately trying to get a few good pictures of me climbing into the car, just doing his job. He held my gaze for an uncomfortable few seconds before suddenly lowering his eyes to the ground. His body language signalled shame and embarrassment. He was a nice lad. Back at the villa, Carlos informed me, as Ferrero had indicated, that he needed to speak to Jerry and me in private. We sat down in the sitting room with Carlos and Sophia Alien, and Tricia left us to it. Carlos still looked very concerned. There was a great deal we needed to discuss, he told us. He reinterpreted that the situation was not good. The police had a lot of evidence against us, and I was certain to be made an agreed in the morning. First, he cited video footage that the police had shot of the reactions of the blood and cadaver dogs in apartment 5A. and also around our hire car. I would be shown this on my return to the police station, he said, presumably repeating what he had been told by the police. He explained how samples from both these sites had revealed Madeline's blood, and one of them indicated a 15 out of 19 match with her DNA. I was totally perplexed. Although this news, if true, seemed to add weight to the possibility that Madeline had at the very least been physically harmed, unusually I didn't dwell too much on the frightening implications. I can only assume that this was because what we were being told just didn't make sense. If, as the police alleged, Madeline's blood was in the boot of our car, which we had not rented until the 27th of May, how on earth had it got there? Did this mean someone had planted it? I could see no other explanation. The police theory, it seemed, was that we had hidden Madeline's body, then moved it later in the car and buried it elsewhere. Next came the matter of a crumpled page the police said they had discovered in my borrowed Bible. It seemed this was felt to be highly significant because the passage on that page in 2 Samuel 12 dealt with the death of a child. I knew nothing about any pages being crumpled, let alone in which part of the Bible. The fact that I had asked to see a priest on the night of Madeline's disappearance was also seen as evidence of guilt. What? I was beginning to find my credulity stretched to breaking point. Don't people in Portugal talk to priests in times of need? I asked Carlos, apparently not. They only called for a priest when they wanted their sins to be forgiven. Good grief. This was definitely not the faith in which I was familiar. A witness claimed to have seen Jerry and me carrying a big black bag and acting suspiciously. This was absolute nonsense, but evidence of this kind came down to one person's word against another, and it appears that as far as the police were concerned, our words counted for little. If you were Portuguese, Carlos said, with an air of resignation, that would be enough to put you in prison. The only conclusion I could draw was that we'd been framed. Though this seemed completely implausible, faced with something like this, way beyond the speed of your experience, it is natural to dismiss it as impossible, but that doesn't mean it is. When I thought about all that had happened so far, maybe anything was possible. In any event, it seemed we had underestimated the magnitude of the fight we had on our hands. Even our own lawyer appeared to think, based on what he'd been told, that the police had a good case against us. I could see by this time that Jerry was starting to crack. Then came the best bit. Carlos announced that the police had proposed if we, or rather I, admitted that Madeline had died in an accident in the apartment and confessed to having hidden and disposed of her body, the sentence I received would be more lenient, only 2 years, he said, as opposed to what I'd be looking at if I ended up being charged with homicide. Pardon? I really wasn't sure if I could possibly have heard him correctly. My incredulity turned to rage. How dare they suggest I lie? How dare they expect me to live with such a charge against my name? And even more importantly, did they really expect me to confess to a crime they had made up? To falsely claim to the whole world that my daughter was dead, when the result would be the whole world stopped looking for her? The police tactic might have worked successfully in the past, but it certainly wasn't going to work for me. Over my dead body, you need to think about it, Carlos insisted. It would only be one of you. Jerry could go back to work. I was speechless. The incentive to accept this offer seemed to be that if we didn't agree to it, the authorities could or would go after us for murder. And if we were found guilty, we might find we might both receive life sentences. Was this what it came down to? Confess to the lesser charge, or risk to something much worse? Jerry was distraught now. He was on his knees, sobbing, his head hung low. We're finished. Our life is over, he kept saying, over and over again. The realization that we were in the mercy of an incomprehensible criminal justice system had hit him hard. It was excruciating to see him like this. I love him so much, and he is usually so strong. I was very conscious that my response was different. Maybe I should have been on my knees too. Why wasn't I crying? Was my behaviour making me look cold or guilty? Again, my only explanation is that it was beyond comprehension. I might as well have been a character in a soap opera. Any time now, the director would call cut, and this scene would be over. Even today, I struggle to believe it actually took place. There was a phrase Carlos must have used about 20 times. This is the point of no return. I could feel myself shaking. He was a man with 3 daughters of his own. Do you want me to lie? What could you do, Carlos? If one of your daughters was missing and this happened to you, what would you do? Would you confess to a crime you hadn't committed, knowing full well it would mean everyone would stop searching for her? I considered it, yes. Heaven help us. My confidence in Carlos was evaporating almost as quickly as my faith in the Portuguese justice. I couldn't tell if he believed us, which, given the job was to defend us, was a major worry. To put it mildly, even if he did, I was no longer sure he had the backbone to stand up for us. It was one thing to make us aware of the police's proposal, and that perhaps Carlos was duty bound to do that. It was quite another, however, to suggest we accept it. I was horrified and told him so in no uncertain terms. My anger and ferocious maternal instincts began to permeate Jerry's despair. He was regaining his composure, his powers of reason, and his fighting spirit. They've got nothing, he fired at Carlos. He began pointing out the many flaws in the police's evidence and the complete absence of any logic. This should be your job, not ours, he said. He asked Carlos whether he felt he was up to the job. Carlos thought so. Did he need assistance? Not at the moment, but he would if the case came to trial. Tricia and Eileen, disturbed by the noise, appeared from their room, keeping a lid on my anger for long enough to enable me to communicate clearly. I brought them up to the speed. With the seconds, they were 3 raging lionesses pacing the villa. Recognising the need to switch into crisis management mode, we calmed each other down. Jerry and I made it very clear to Tricia and Eileen that if we didn't return from the police station the next day, they should take the children out of the country as soon as possible. It must have been close to 4 a.m. when Carlos and Sophia left, saying they would see me at the police station later that morning. On her way out, Sophia came over and gave me a hug. She told me she believed in us, that she was with us, and tried to allay my concerns about Carlos. I should trust him, she said. He was very good. It was a relief to know that somebody in Portugal was on our side. Jerry and I just looked at each other, not knowing quite what to do or what was to become of us. We'd experienced many periods of despair since our beloved daughter had been taken away, but this one would take some beating. Our lives, our family, our whole future hung in the balance. We couldn't just go to bed. We had to do something. Despite the time, Jerry rang Bob Small and, in a voice laced with panic, explained what was going on. Bob was shocked. He wasn't aware of any forensic results, he told us, and certainly none suggesting what had been shared with us. He tried his best to reassure Jerry. Just tell them the truth. It'll be okay, he insisted. Perhaps he was trying to convince himself. It was almost 5 a.m. when we finally got to bed. Extra prayers tonight. Madeline, sweetheart, please don't forget how much we love you. We will keep fighting, darling, and we will keep searching for you. Hang in there, Madeline. Okay, so that's the end of that one. But tonight, guys, oh my God. How intense was that? I was used to talking about Dr. Pepper and chili. Oh, well, my mouth is dry as a bone, and I thought that was real intense, that. So, Leanie, I've got to ask you, after hearing what's gone on so far, what do you think? What do you think, guys, since listening to this book? I hope you could understand me. But what do you think? My heart's telling me still that they haven't done it. Today, that woman, I felt every feeling of anxiousness, of despair, and total heartbreak. I tell you, when I was reading that out then, it was awful. I just felt her pain. Leanie, what do you think? Maggie, appreciate you and all your emotions. You are a diamond. Thank you so much. Oh, thanks, Pink. I'm glad you didn't get onto all the mistakes. I want to believe that they didn't. I don't think they did, Lizzo. I don't, honestly. Yeah, they did wrong. There's no doubt in my mind about that. If it had been anyone else, we'd have got prison. But I don't think they're guilty of it. I don't think they had anything to do with the death of that kid. Yeah, my mind has changed. I don't think the parents did anything. But don't go by me, go by Jay Badass. She thinks logically. I don't think they did. I really don't. You need to read chat later. We were talking about. Oh, it's gone on. We were talking about how good you are. Who, me? Maggie, we are going to Leanie's for chili and stories round the fire. Always rice. I'll read some too. Oh, do you know what? I can't get over how much emotional I got into that book then. I'm listening to every word I'm saying. Normally, if I'm reading, I'm not taking anything on board. I'm not picking up what I'm putting down at all. But I tell you what, I just hope to God that you could understand me, because sometimes I get carried away and it starts saying to me in my brain, slow down, Maggie, slow down. But I can't wait to find out what's going to go on here. Even now, it's like all them years ago, we just need to know, because all these little things, you just don't understand, you didn't know. I'm cancelling my Audible. I'm paying you instead. Oh, Pink, get me a book. I'll read it to you, Gail. I'll read it to you. I'll record it and send you it. I'd definitely do that. I enjoy it. I didn't think I'd enjoy doing something like this, but I do. I didn't think anyone would be interested. Maybe if I get another book, they'd be interested, because this is a bit old now, and that sounds terrible, doesn't it? Because this little girl's still missing. But I'd like to know what goes on. Do you know what I mean? And I've seen some I've seen some like Madeline McCann things, and it is pointing the finger at them the way they've done it. Do you know what I mean? But then I've seen others that like show that they're innocent, and it's very confusing and conflicting, isn't it? No, you won't. Where have you gone? No, you won't. You will read to all of us. Oh, I will. I'll be happy to read if you really are happy to hear me and you're not just trying to make me feel good. I would love to read books. It may be old, but it can change people's views. Well, look, Lainey was adamant. Yes, you had us in tears. Did I? Did I? Which part when I was near in tears? Oh, that was awful. That did not get to me. Imagine me being a policewoman and that. I'd be sobbing with them. I think he doesn't get Preferential treatment. Shuffle out. Shuffle out. Oh, do you know what? Did you have a look for that other book at all, Pink? The one that Lunchy was saying was good about hearing the voices of the dead people. Do you know whether that's meant to be a scary one or what? Is there any books that you'd like read? Let me know. God, as long as it's not in Spanish or anything. And big words. Big words in Spanish aren't me. What's that say? I'm a dial a God, what's that say? I'm a child. Hi. No. I'm a child. Oh, give up, Pink. Yeah, it was very emotional, wasn't it? That part where, oh God, I could feel it, girls. I could feel it. I really could. We'd like whole booksheds. It's Madeline with hearts. Oh God, it was terrible. Well, yous let me know what book. I'll have a look what I've got upstairs, right, and see if yous want me to read any of them. And if you do, all good, 'cause I've got them here. Yes, Maggie, lunch lady said she's going to check if she still has a face. But what does it matter if she's still got it? I can't read it from there, Pink, can I? So, what do you mean? Jim says she's got a video every page. Going to check if she still has a face.
You want?
Animals by Ricky Gervais. Oh, I love him because he loved animals. I love him. I was sobbing with his program where he meets the woman. Oh, when his wife died, I was sobbing. Is the book finished? No, it's not finished yet, Lee. Let me have a look how far we've got. No, we've got a load yet. Got about. Oh, hang on. Where are we on now? Let's see. Number 17. Chapter 17. Oh, God, this one's called Arguidos. Am I saying that right? Arguidos. Oh, God, look, I'm trying to have a little cheese. I'm having a little cheek, guys. Hold on. Oh, I won't have a cheese. I'll wait and read it with yous. I won't. I'll read it with yous. I'm not going to look at it. I'm not going to cheat. I'm not going to see what happens next because I can't cope. I can't cope. Yes, perfect. I'm crying now. What are you crying for, JB? What's going on, girl? Tell me. Yes, shut up, Laney. Wasn't asking for preferential treatment. She can send it to you. Share if she can send it to you. Share it, she said, Maggie. But she's got the book, hasn't she? Or oh no, she's got it on the Kindle. That's right, Pink. It should be there. Because I've got about 6,000 I've never read. I know, JB, isn't it awful? Do you believe it, JB? Do you believe it? Tell me you do. I feel like going over to you and doing the campaign for Madeline. Oh, isn't it awful? Pinky, she said she would read to you on audio and send it to you. I was getting jealous. She said, I didn't realise she was talking about me then. You shut up, Leanie. Jelly Leanie. Very jelly, JB, badass. J badass. Oh my God, you don't believe them? Oh my God, hang on a minute, guys. JB, are you serious? You don't believe them? Can you tell me why? I really need to know. I want to know. Oh my God, now this is up for discussion here, kids. Come on. I want to know why JB. Why are you going in the bushes for, Pink? Get here. We're going to find out now why JB doesn't believe them. My heart's broke. Don't tell me that, because I've just read that out and believe that woman felt that in her heart, because I felt it from her heart. I really did. Oh, God. I think they sold her and regretted it. But why they had her under? They had IVF. Why go through all that? Oh, I don't think they sold her. Why would they? No, I can't believe that. I can't. Oh, God, yeah. JB, tell us more. Did you see little red flags? Tell us. But how was the blood in the boot of the car, in the trunk of the car? And it was weeks after she'd been abducted. What was that all about? I believe they were framed. They wanted to shut them up. There was too much going on. They couldn't cope. They couldn't cope with none of it. God, I'll be honest with you, right? When I was reading that book, I thought, because it was so long ago, I wanted an up-to-date one. I didn't think I was going to get into it. My heart's broken. I'll be lying in bed tonight thinking of that, Pinky, come back. She's not jelly no more. No one knows. I can see why you believe, but don't let emotions sway you. But you know what? They've been campaigning all this time, JB. All this time. Yeah, come on, FBI J. Get back and tell us. Tell us some more. We want to know. As if you're training us to believe the FBI. I think, if anything, they may have given her something to make her sleep and maybe given her too much. That was the first thing I thought, Lizzo. They've given them something to sleep. And like you say, oh, she's been groggy, got up to go to the toilet, fell and banged her head, which explains the blood. Do you know what I mean? I mean, he wasn't over there. He'd gone over to check on them, and he wasn't over there long enough to get her out that flat and do away with the body and get back. He was back in 10 minutes. How could he have done that if it was them? Do you know what I mean? If the FBI knew, she would be home. Oh, and they put that sighting of her as well at the what do you call it, the gas station. Okay, I'll be in lunch, ladies. Pocket. Forgive me, Lainey, for appreciating Maggie. You appreciate me, Gail. You appreciate me, Pink. Thank you, my biggest fan. Pink fan is my fan. They shouldn't. Oh God, they shouldn't have left her. Definitely, 100% shouldn't have left her. That was so wrong, JB. We and Lizzo talked about this. If that had been any, because they were doctors, they got treated differently, in my opinion. If that had been us, the normal working class people, we'd have now be in life in prison. We'd have been in jail, for sure. Yeah, how did the blood appear in the rental? Well, she said she believes it was planted. Because how on earth would Madeline's blood be in a rental car that they got 2 or 3 weeks after that she went missing? I haven't watched that case, Casey Anthony. I've been too wrapped up with the Madeline so-so. Now you're going back, Leonie, now to believing they've done that. So you've got to remain firm in your belief. Stand firm, Gail. Stand firm. And that's why I was swayed to them doing it, because I was angry that they neglected it. Yeah. I mean, that was the first thing I thought, that they've given her Calpol or something. She's woke up groggy, fell and banged a little head, and it's killed her. Because how many people do you hear of getting knocks on the head and they lose their life? But then you think of that, and you think of the time they had to get it out, and get a hid somewhere. It's just not possible. He was back within 10 minutes. It is old, yeah, it is old. But they are responsible. They should not have left them kids. None of them. Nope, I'm not standing firm. I'm wishy-washy. Blame the FBI. Oh, that makes a change. That makes a change. It's normally the eclipse. Yeah, there she goes, the eclipse. Fuck the FBI. There you go. Me too. I just don't know. I don't think they killed her. I don't think they killed her. I'm standing firm. I do not think they are guilty. There you go. That's what Maggie thinks. But you know what? I want to deep dive now into this. I want to deep dive. I want to do a live on Madeline McCann. I want to go digging. I want to go digging. I haven't got a dig in me. I wouldn't know how to dig, but I want to. Leonie wants to drag me onto the conspiracy. JB, stand up to her. Don't let her drag you into the conspiracy. That might be right, Maggie. Might be right on, Maggie. What does it say? Forgot. I'm everybody's fan and supporter. I love all you fruitcakes and love bugs. Fruitcake, love bug. We love you, Punk. We love you, Pink. Lol, J Badass. I'm looking for your professional opinion. Oh, I'm not. I'm just looking for my own. I'm listening to that woman's arse. I know a sincere heart when I hear one, and I think that was one of them. Yeah, I do, honestly. I think that they're innocent. I think it's awful. She looked terrible. I mean, she would have looked terrible with guilt if she had killed her. Do you know what I mean? I know that proves nothing. But you know the way they're explaining now, because we were hearing that the Portuguese people were all the Portuguese people were like, like sort of tapping each other, going, oh, being bloods in the car and blah blah. They all started turning against her. That's what we were led to believe, and it isn't true. Reading that book, the Portuguese people were absolutely lovely with her. Do you know what I mean? But oh God, my anger and emotions at them neglecting their kids so that they can go out and drink. Bossy. Now, see, that wasn't true, Lizzo. That's what she said in the book. That's what they said in the book. She just said in the book. They weren't. They were accused of drinking all kinds of bottles of wine, and none of it was true. There you go, girl. See, these might have been chatting then when I was saying that part, but I was picking all up what was you putting down. I was taking it all in. I absorbed. They can't have planted the blood. Where would they get it from? But who do you know? How do you know? How do you know these police didn't have it? I don't. Listen. I have not got a clue how they could do it, but someone did it. And where the hell would the blood come from if it was the parents? How did they get it? So many weeks after. JB, can you advise us, please, on what way, anyway, in your professional opinion, would they have got blood out of that car? The car that they only rented 2 or 3 weeks, or was it a month or so, after the kids had gone missing? So, did they rent that car to go and take the body, then bring it back and then rent it again in 2 weeks? Because I just don't know if I thought the tapas bar said they had. No, girl, it was a lie. It was a lie. They hadn't at all. Transfer of trace evidence. See, Liz? See? See what I mean? Corrupt. The police are corrupt. Someone's corrupt. It can happen. It can happen. The police were the police there remind me of the police in Aruba and the Natalie Holloway case. I don't know that one either. Are these all recent, Leanie, or these old cases? I love these crime ones, I like to try and get into everything. I stop it and rewind and listen again. And I stop and rewind. It takes me about 8 hours to listen to an hour because my brain just won't absorb things. Her blood was on something they had if they are innocent. Her blood was on something they had if they are innocent. No, well, no blood was on it, and the only thing she said, a mark she noticed, there was a mark on Madeline's pajama top, and it looked like what was spilt tea, and she said that was the only thing she'd noticed. Other than that, so there was nothing else on the kids, because well, she had the pajamas on obviously when she went missing. But I heard as well, which was another lie, that one of the twins was wearing the same pajamas as Madeline when she went missing. And someone said, "Oh, you've got lovely pajamas." And the little girl went, Mad's pajamas, Mad's pajamas. So again, that was like the things you hear. And you think, oh, you know what I mean? I feel disgusted in myself. Them papers as well. I never believe again what's in them papers. I worked on that some Laney. I had a complaint, you see, and police would call with their opinions and their physics. Oh, oh, it's very interesting. How long was you doing it, JB? And I know I'm going on about this Madeline Soto, but what do you think about that, JB? Can't get me head. I can't get over how that man got away with what he got away with. And I was watching last night on what's his name, the interview room, doing the listening to Jen Soto, the mother, and he said, because he does all the body language and that, he worked on it for years, and he said that's completely innocent. She's telling the truth. She is telling the truth. The only time he said when they started turning up the gas a bit, he said these are going to start turning up the gas in a minute. And they did. And he said, now watch your feet. Her feet started fidgeting and she started putting her hands on her private parts. And that was like if she was thinking about something essay or something like that. But otherwise, he said, what are you saying? Yeah, essay, yeah. Oh no, I'm talking. No, I know what it means. You've got to say it on here. You can't say it. And he was saying, no, he said, because everyone in the audience in the chat was going, no, she's guilty. Look at her hands flying everywhere. And he said, loads of people talk with the hands. That means nothing. You know, you've got to get, you've got to, what is it, the baseline? You've got to watch them first to see how they are with everything and to get a picture of how they do things. But he reckons up to now on that first interview that I was watching that she's innocent. She just must be fucking thick. Lainey sucky. I ain't chuffing offended. Oh my God, what's happening with these two here? So when they are out of ideas, they go listen to mediums just to be doing something. Oh, suck my dick, she's saying to Pink Fan. She says that. She says that to me every day. I say to her, you go and suck my dick.
Right, so you can say that, but you can't think.
No. I think you can. I think you can say it because she says it all. Are you allowed to say DICK out loud in years with?
It's the
Oh yeah, with me saying SUCK, my DICK. Am I allowed to say that out loud? Oh my God, here's where the channel's gonna get down. Oh please, YouTube, please. It's not my channel, and I'm going to get it into trouble. Please. If I rub that out, shall I rub that out, Selene? Shall I go back in and rub that out, edit it? What are you laughing at? It was removed just now. No, but I said it. Which was removed? I'm lost. I'll go wash your... Oh, I'm not reading now, so I'm going to get really into trouble and lose a channel. No, you're not. You're fine. She said I'm fine. Phew. Thank God for that. Blessing myself. I'm laughing reading the chat. Oh, God. My ears are killing with these headphones. Oh. Is it cold there, JB? Whereabouts are you? Have you heard it? Yeah. Oh, lunchy. We're laughing our heads off listening to it. The things she comes out with, honest to God. Oh, she can be blazing one minute and then she's normal. Oh, your air conditioning's too high. It was Martin's comment that was help bereave you. Oh, I didn't even see it. Oh, I'm going up to have a look. Hang on. Yeah, and needs does Wednesday. Needs does little Wednesday. Oh, Aileen, I was thinking, right, what if Wednesday really is a girl and it's balls on up there somewhere, they've got it wrong, that it's a girl and it's Mary, just looks like a willy. Because not everyone's, no, you know, you could have a little abnormality. And little Wednesday hasn't got balls stuck up there. And she is a girl. Oh, I'd have to be saying, take a scan. Take a scan. Tell them to take a scan to make sure that she has got balls. She has got balls. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm rooting. I'm rooting for Wednesday being a girl. I'm rooting. Sent little Wednesday a present, and oh look, my dog just literally said that's how much it gets presents. As soon as I say I've got one, as soon as I come in from shopping, it heads in the bag because I have to bring her something home. And it's always a squeaky balls, but she never gets enough of squeaky balls. Hello, dear Suze. How are you? Oh, can you feel them? I thought they were high up in the stomach. Pink fan said, Leni, shut up causing eruptions in the chat, will ya? Anyone would think this is your channel. Oh, Pink, you're so funny. I'm good. How are you doing? Having a snack? I'm okay, Suze. I've just finished reading a bit from the Madeline McCann book. It's really sad. I don't know if you're familiar with little Madeline McCann who went missing in Prior Day Lou a few years back now. Oh, have you got your own channel, Suze? I only ever see you coming in and then you've gone on Leonie's lives. You come in, say hello, and then you go. Where are we? Where's Pink gone? You still there, Pink?
Oh.
No, I've gone on other people's panels. Wait, I'm on Leanie's channel. That's what I mean, JB. I've took over. Suze, I'm looking for new panel guests. Maggie's on me tits. Will you come up? I'm getting on the tits. Get on my tits. Shut up, Leanie. I sure will. Oh, yeah, Leanie. Yeah, arrange with Suze when she can go up on panel. Yeah, we'd like to see someone new. We like to learn about all the things about someone new that comes. Well, you're not new that comes into chat. I've seen you coming into chat loads of times, but you're only in fleetingly, aren't you? Absolutely. I'll come up sometime. Fresh meat, says JB. On your own head be it, Suze. On your own head be it. Where's my phone? Suze, what state are you from? Can you tell us something wonderful? We're bored with Maggie. It's a good job. It's a good job, you, Leanie. It's a good job, I tell you, that I don't take offence to you. Otherwise, I would be a bitch from hell. How about that? How about that? And I'm made up for you anyway, okay? Made up for you. Maggie made us cry. Maggie probably makes everyone cry because I nearly cry. I'm pretty quiet, but I'll come up anyways. See, she would sound amazing reading. Miss Read. JB just says, yes, she sounds amazing reading. Miss Read. Oh my God. Oh, Pink is funny. There was JB. Oh my God. Oh, you've all gone quiet over there. Oh, you've all gone quiet over there. My baby child's favourite state is Michigan. He's a snow baby. Why'd you get snow in Michigan? Can't get over it. Hello, baby. Hello. Come here. Come here to your mum. Oh, come here. Oh, she blanked me because I've been out this afternoon. Come here. Oh, come on. Oh, well, sod you. Oh, now you've changed your tune. Now you've changed your tune. Come here, girl. Oh, yeah, Alec, you know, because you didn't get the popcorn time before you went out. Look what you made me do. Get a Kit Kat. I said to you, I'm going to eat the popcorn. He goes there, snowboards a lot. Ooh, it's that morbid infatuation. They get good snow mags. It's all gone, Jess. It's all gone. Me and you had it before. When Daddy was in the gym and we stashed the paper down the side of the chair. Come here. Come here, little legs. Come here. Oh, God. You know, when I go out anyway, I went out for an hour. When I come back, Jessie doesn't look at me. She's only just started looking at me now. I don't know, Pink. I haven't phoned for about, I think it's about 2 weeks, because I'm in talks with this woman who's in talks with another woman who she walks dogs, and she's got lots of dogs, dog people. And at the minute, this lady who's found a dog which was pregnant, and the dog's gonna have puppies, or has had puppies, and she's trying to rehome them first. So after that, then she's going to settle on CC. Oh yeah, she's feeling better. She's feeling better. She tried to eat my Kit Kat before. I had to bite all the chocolate off it and give her the wafer. I'd done that one time and inhaled as I bit the wafer, and it choked myself. Swear to God, Alex, listening, I went puce. I was going just with this little tiny bit of wafer that is inhaled. I could feel it in my lung. I was going puce, and Alex looking at me, and I'm thinking, you better get me now and bang me on my back dead quick. But it must have melted. It must have melted. You should have seen my eyes. My eyes look like gobstoppers. They were purple. They were bruised the next day. I burst a vessel in my eyes, and they were bruised the next day. I look like I've been 10 rounds with Mike Tyson. Terrible. Is that Looney gone? She's gone quiet. 1 minute she's, oh, there she is. Yeah, even Jessie wants to choke Max. Shut up, you. Made up for you. Even Jessie wants to choke Max. Oh, God. Gotta love her, haven't you? Haven't you? Gotta love her. Good job I don't turn her hair. I just don't. Just doesn't have the thumbs. Oh, you seem to know about Unalive with the right way, don't you? Do you see that, JB? The thumbs. She's been watching too much crime. She shit in my car instead. Are you going live during the day? No, Suze. Leonie's still doing her lives in the day. I'm just reading a book in the night. Some people were interested in a book that I haven't read. So I said I was going to read it, and would they be interested in if I read it online each night? And that's what we've been doing. So every night at 8 o'clock, they all come in. Well, about 3 of them come in and listen to me reading the book. She was mad over the leather at Leanie. The faux leather. And Alex going, it's real leather, I can't get over it. This is a takeover, yeah. Suze Maggie is reading during the day. I still go, oh, hang on, I'm reading in my night. This is night time to me. What time is it, Alex? It's 25 past 10 in the night time here. So I read in the night to me, and she's on in the day. Real leather, I can't get over it, Pink. And George's line. I said to him yesterday, are you sure they're real leather in the car? Look her up in the handbook. Dinner time there. Wish it was dinner time here. I'm starving. She goes live at night, just not every night. It's daytime to us, Maggie. Can't get over it. Hang on. So it's 10, 8, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. So it's 5:25 past 5 to you. Ooh. The leather doesn't suit Jessie. She wants to Jaguar. It's when she shits all over the back seat. This has been a hoot. Oh my God. So what have you cooked for your tea then, according to Leanie? What are you having for dinner, guys? Are you looking at Jess? If I like to take a picture and show you, oh, she's walked away now. Great mapping mags. 22, 26 here. Same as me, Pinko. Same as me. These Americans keeping us up all hours. Oh, they have me Botox today, girls. Might go live in 2 weeks. Might go live in 2 weeks on camera. Oh, corned beef hash. Eggs and corned beef hash. Now I can't even imagine that. And grits. What's grits? What? Some potato? I don't know. I don't know. Oh, I said to him, Lunchy, do me a favour, I've been awful depressed because every time I'm looking in this face this year, I am getting worse. I'm getting a new wrinkle. He just started laughing. He said, you've got wonderful skin for your age. I said, look, listen to me. Can you give me a good overdose, please? I'm going away and I'm just going all downhill now. So please give me some. And I said, now I've got this bit of a wrinkle in. It's like not going away. Can you help me out? He went, I'll see you in 2 weeks. Thought, grits are a no plot. Oh, fuck off. Just the way she speaks to me, listen, Alex. Oh, fuck off. I'm not explaining grits again. Excuse me. I've got fucking menopause brain. How am I supposed to remember what grits are? Grits here is what's on the fucking floor. Grits.
Take up porridge made from corn.
Oh, Alex, why don't you shut up? Fucking giving you tuppence worth in the corner. Shut up.
I'm trying to fucking tell you what grits are.
Well, fucking look it up then.
I fucking have done. That's what I was saying. So you fucking ram it now, okay?
Oh, you go and fucking ram it. Let's have a listen. Go on.
Saying that.
Oh, fuck you and Leanie. How about that?
Google it on your own fucking
I
screen.
won't fucking Google it. Stop making me sweet. I've been on here all night, not a fucking damn out my mouth. And listen to me now. You know what you just said to me? So you tell Honey, shut up, you twat. It's me, grits. Oh my God. I am very certain we didn't need those shitty grits. I didn't. Alex, tell me what a grit is.
What?
Well, fuck you. I'm leaning. How about
I
that?
was telling you. You told me to shut up. Mind my own business.
Go on. I didn't know you was telling me.
It's fine.
Thought you was just interfering.
You can ram it now.
Oh, look, this is to tell me to put my patch on. See, this is what I have to do, Gail. Remind me to put a new patch on. Alec, will you remind me when we get up to put a new patch on?
God, that's what I do everything in this house.
Oh, God. Hang on, where am I up to? Why is thanking Martin? What's being said? I'm missing everything here. That Leanie. Hang on. Oh, we are. Oh, it's gone again. Grits are made from dent corn, which is a soft sake. It's gone. Grits are made from the dent corn, which has a softer and starchier kernel than other corn varieties. The mature kernels are processed to remove. Oh, that sounds fucking awful. Oh, that sounds disgusting. Use eat shite over there. Telling you. Yeah, put your patch on and calm your ass and be sweet to Honey. ram it now. Pig saying ram it now.
I've got one now.
Come on. Oh, doesn't it? Ooh, sounds like the shit Jessie did on the back seat of my car. Where are you ramming it, Maggie? We want to know. Lunch lady saying I made up for them. I look at the sayings. Ah. All you not eating grits people, fuck right off. That one. Oh God, honest to God, if anyone coming here now and listens to this chat, they'd wonder what was going on. Oh my God, I forget I'm on here, you know, talking. I'm thinking no one can hear me. I better go on mute. We will, according to Laney, race off. Hang on, we will, according to Laney, race off the side of the flat earth. Literally, Sam would pass a bus there. Oh my God. The definition of gravy. What's your gravy? Oh. This poor dog, I swear to God, she drops something at Alex's feet and she stares at it. For even if he doesn't turn it in and forgets about it, she's still staring at it 15 minutes later.
She won't fucking drink it.
I'm just telling them like what Jeffrey's like. Well, I will. Oh, do you know what? I'll have to get you over here and make a pan scouse. Is it possible to get some sort of order in this chat? Go on, Pink, put your foot down. The fucking host is a cow. She's dead bitchy to us. She's bitchy to the co-host. Riverbank Sand's even not pretty. Oh God. No, we have thick beef gravy. Oh yeah, Yorkshire pudding, lovely roasties, all crispy. Oh God, time for roast. Oh God. Well, JB, this is the Mads Mod experience. I'm here for it. You sure are, girl. White gravy. Oh, what's white gravy? You've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. Oh, wait, Kathy next door said, just to let us know, there definitely is a ghost. She said Jimmy seen it walking through here. Oh, through here, the kiwi. Walking through the kiwi and going through her fence. I said, oh, fucking hell, Kathy. Why'd you tell me that? I'm terrified. She said he's got a cap on. Oh, God. Lunch lady said, American gravy can be many things, many styles, depending on what time of the day it is. Oh, white gravy is breakfast gravy. Oh, hang on. But what is it? And if you do it right, it isn't white. And it's delish. So hang on a minute. What is white gravy? What do you make? How do you make white gravy? It looks like salmonella. Salmonella.
No.
It looks like semolina. Oh my God. Oh. White gravy poured on biscuits here. Beef gravy, delish. Oh, Pink, yeah. Sausage gravy, chips, chops, and onion gravy. And it's sticky. It's got to be sticky. Oh, I can imagine it being puke. Ugh. Sticky gravy. Listen, mashed potato, lamb chops. The fat is all done till it's crispy. Peas and onion gravy. Oh my God, I better shut up because my mouth's dripping. You brown flour in a pan until it forms a nutty flavour. Add milk and it thickens up and it's delish. Oh God, don't know about that. Don't know about that. Yeah, but what do you flavour it with? Yeah, what do you flavour it with? What's it like? Hard as like beef gravy or minted gravy? What's your gravies taste of? We love our lunch, lady. We do. Oh no, I don't do cheese. Don't do cheese pink. No. I did the cauliflower, but not the cheese. Do you like cauliflower cheese, Al? Who did you get that off? It wasn't me.
One was off you.
I love
cauliflower cheese years ago.
Ugh.
Macaroni and cheese.
Ours is flavoured with beef juices and vegetable stock. Because I thought they were saying their white one was that then. Yeah, you've got to get the juices off the meats. Oh. Leanie's gone quiet, hasn't she? Where's she gone? Pork chops and cauliflower cheese. Oh no, see, I can't take that pink. The cheese has just ruined it for me. Ruined it. I ruined it. I wonder if... Just let me try something a minute. Bear with me. Going on mute. Guys, what do you reckon on this, right? What do you reckon on my new picture for the reading? Do you reckon? Like that wallpaper, Leanie? What do you reckon on that wallpaper, Lee? Oh, I can't see what she's saying.
Right. Jesse.
The other one with the boot. How did you see that? I didn't think it worked when I put it up. Hang on. Hang on, hang on. Hang on. Where am I here? Let me have a look. Which one? Is it this one? Or This one. Without obviously little Maddie's picture there. Oh, hang on, can't put that up now.
Not no.
So he's talking to the dog. So I'm gonna have to do a story time one, aren't I? Because I'm running out of pictures. And then I think I've got another one here. Hold on. Oh, where have they gone? Oh, God. Do you want to come up now, Sue? Do you want to say hello? Come on, Leanie. Get up. I like your story time sign. So the first picture, Sue's, that one you mean? I love that zoomed back. What's that? Zoomed back. Well, do you know what? I didn't think that showed earlier because I messaged him, Leanie, and said I've tried to put a picture up, Lee, but it doesn't seem to be working. So hold on.
No.
Let's see. See, I can try it now. I'll use it there, I suppose. So hang on. Oh, I'll go on mute because the dog's playing out. I had the mic off. I had to go off a minute. I tried to do something on my phone to bring on here, but it all went pear-shaped, so I've gave up on it for now. Suze, do you want to come up? Do you want to come up if I put the link in and we can have a chat for 5 minutes because then I'm getting off then. And then you'll feel better then. If Leanie's us alive, you can come on tomorrow. Up to you, dear. Are you coming up, Leanie? Leanie. I'm inviting the host up on her panel at her own channel. Country road, take me home. Oh God, I can't sing. Are you coming up, Suze? Oh, is she coming up? Is she? Well, Lainey can just come in on her own, can't she? So I'll wait till Lainey comes and yeah, she's gonna come up. Whoop, whoop. Okay. Who's on then? Lainey, where are you? Oh, she might be logging on. There she comes. Here she comes. Here she comes. Gail, where are you? Oh, we are.
Hello.
Oh, you haven't got a picture.
Why don't I?
I don't know. You're
I don't
blind.
know. Let me get me one.
Get
How about,
one.
how about that one?
Can't see a thing.
Oh,
Guys,
can I
can you
see it?
can you
Oh,
see a picture?
it's because I didn't
There
stop.
you
Pam.
are.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Suze, come on up. Did we drop a link?
No, I haven't dropped it yet. It says I'd leave that for you till you come up.
No.
So shall I do it now so I can learn?
Go ahead, girl. Yeah, we're going to need new
Okay.
people to be getting up on panel because I'm done with Maggie.
You bitch. Honest to God.
Maggie, I have to tell you, I have to be honest. Like and I'm not saying this because you're my friend. Because if you were bad, I would tell you, Maggie, stop. Don't do it. You're embarrassing yourself.
I'm sure you would.
You know I would, but I'm telling you, you have a gift, and it is amazing to me to listen to you read. It's like I don't know if I'm listening because I'm interested in the book or listening to your words and your emotion and the way you enunciate, like when someone's talking or if they're just like given a view of something or if they're feeling emotion. It is amazing to me. You have a
Really?
true gift. Yes, I'm not
Like
lying
when
to you.
she's writing in a little diary.
Yeah,
Little
like
bits.
if she's like giving full emotion, like you give that full emotion, it's amazing. It
Wow.
really
Oh,
is.
God.
I'm not lying to you. I'm
Oh, well,
not.
that's good. At least because the worry that I had is that obviously I'm not I get tongue tied with everything, so I was just worried that you wouldn't be. I know you can understand me, but not everyone can.
Oh no, no. I would tell you if you're reading too fast or no, your words you can totally understand it.
Oh, brilliant! That's good then.
Brilliant.
Makes me feel confident to read some more.
Well, you're not, I'm telling you, this is your jam and you're going to always be doing it. You're going to be like, please don't make us read another book. And I'm going to be like, but you are. You are.
I don't mind. I really don't mind.
Love it
Anyway,
so
where's
much.
Susie?
Suze, come on up, girl. I came in here
Take
for
the link.
you. Take the link.
The link's there for you, Susie. Just click on that link here and follow the instructions.
Beefcake is, I was pulling down tape and Beefcake is in there. He had to put one of the lights back together because he's got to pull the other light down. And all I got to do is just go over that once with the underneath the light with the white, and then I'm done. And then it's just a very tiny, small wall above the shower that
Oh
that
my
I'm doing in
God.
chocolate, and
Oh.
I'll be done. I'm so
Is that in
excited.
his bathroom? Did you
Yeah,
start that today? It's near finished.
yesterday. I started
I
yesterday.
started it
Yeah.
yesterday. Oh my God.
Two
So
coats of paint.
chocolate brown you
Uh,
chose.
yeah. And I've never done a chocolate brown before, but because his countertops are like that
Mhm.
blue marble, that ugly blue marble, and I'm just not putting any more money into this house when it
Yeah.
comes to big
No.
stuff like that. Um, then I had to, and I didn't want blue. I think that would have just been like overkill of blue. I needed a color that would um
Compliments and go with
complement
it. Is
it, yeah,
yeah.
and go with it, but not a whole lot of that color. So I was like,
Yeah.
oh, brown and blue match perfect.
Wow.
So even his flooring in there it's got little squares of blue in it in the white. And I really hate it. And I could put floor pops. Well, I can't, but I can buy them and have Beefcake do it for me. But then I just thought, why am I putting more money in? I mean, I don't
Yeah.
want to do it. It's
Mm.
fine. The floor's going to look fine with the countertop. Those are the blue, and then I'll
Oh,
just
it
get a
sounds
brown.
lovely.
It's not lovely. It's really not.
Oh
But
no, it's lovely.
I will just get a brown rug to put in there, and it'll tie it all together to be
Oh
gorgeous.
no,
Hold
they
on.
piss all over it. To rug him, the fellas.
No, no. I don't put a rug around the toilet. No. I'm talking about one coming out of the shower so he could step on.
We call them a bath mat.
Okay, then you call it a bath mat. Hold
I
on.
will call it a bath mat. Anyway, Suze, where are you, girl? Gone missing. Susie, sitting in the shoe shine shop. All day long she sits and shines. All day long she shines and sits. Susie, sitting in the shoe shine shop. Will?
Wow, Maggie. Listen to you.
Well, you should sing that, you see, but sing it
I
fast.
never even heard it.
It doesn't come out like that.
Oh.
Susie, shitting in the shoe shine shop. If you sing
Susie's
it fast,
shitting in the shoe shine shop.
sitting in the shoe shine shop. But when you say it fast, all day long she shits and shines. All day long she shines and shits.
I have never heard that before.
Oh, yeah.
Lunch lady, no. I put pheasants in the living room though, and in his bathroom, I'm doing it in old barber shop. So I'm gonna get just a couple things. I don't
Oh,
like
be
to
gorgeous.
overthrow. I don't like theme things. I used to, but not anymore.
Just a
But
little bit.
just a little bit that looks like an old barber shop. I
Yeah,
think
just
that would
throw
be
a
cool.
bit in.
Just throw a bit in. It'll be great.
Yeah, just a little bit is enough. I haven't heard that either, oh Bob.
Yeah.
What's happened to Susie, girl?
Where did Susie go? Did we run Susie off? Susie, get back here, girl.
No, she said she was coming up, didn't she?
You know, I wonder.
Hang on,
Remind me to ask her because PCT calls her Susie. I've always called her Suze.
Yeah,
so
I
wanna
say
know.
Suze as well. I thought if you have
yeah.
an I, it's Susie.
Well, Tina calls her Susie, and
Oh,
I
Caesar
call her
probably.
Suze. So I want to know which
Yeah,
one
which
we're
one she
supposed to call her.
prefers.
Yeah.
Yeah. If she had another A, I'd say Susie, or if she had an I.
I subbed up to Sleuth Intuition because his channel is mainly about the Delphi girls. And it's so funny because people, before they really know me, they call me Lene. I mean, a lot of people here even call me Lene when they first come. But it's so funny hearing it because to me, it doesn't even look like Lene. But when I met Beefcake on AOL in an AOL chat room years and years ago, that's what he called me too, because my handle on AOL was Leanie Bug, and he called me Lene. Yeah, he called me Lene. Yeah, it's
when
so
I seen
funny.
it, what does I think? I was thinking I was a bit unsure of how it was spelled. Yeah, Lean.
Yeah, some people say Lean, the other ones say Lene, and then some of the Aussies say Liney.
As long as they don't call you too early in the morning, Gail.
That's
all you
girl.
gotta worry about.
You got that right.
I got that right.
You got that right.
Oh, I have. If you ever stay here again, I'm thinking the same myself.
When can I see you again?
Sweet lover.
So are we halfway through with the book?
We're more than halfway through. Yep.
Nice. You call me Peckerhead. Nice, lunch lady. Oh my goodness.
So tell me, what are you going to do with your day today, Lee?
I'm finishing up this bathroom. So all I got left is just the chocolate, right? And that won't take but gosh, not even 5 minutes to do. I have to go over it twice
Mhm.
and then I'll be done and then I can start decorating. So I bought a new shelving thing to go above the toilet and I've had it for like, not lying to you, like over a year because I thought I was going to put it in my bathroom, but I decided I didn't like it. It looked too industrial. So I've got it for his, but it's really, really heavy.
Yeah.
So if he doesn't find studs, I know he's going to be saying, I'm not putting that up. So we'll see. But if I could,
I bet you
if
it'll look really nice.
I'm hoping. I think it'll look good in there, but it might be too heavy. If there's no studs for him to put into, I can hear his
Yeah.
mouth now telling me it's not going on the wall. And then I'll have to go to something, that's not so heavy.
Yeah. I
So,
think it'd be nice, but like you say, you'll have to have something in the wall if it's the weight. Well,
mhm.
listen, I don't think Sue's is coming.
I don't either. I don't know what happened. Suze, wherever you're at, let us know when you can come on panel. I need new panel guests. That's the way it's going down. And did you see that Lunch Lady did her first live?
No.
Oh my God. I signed into YouTube, what was it, 2 days ago? Lunch Lady
my-
Martin and Old Lady O were on Lunch Lady's panel. I was like, oh my God,
Oh my
it's
God, I didn't
happening.
even know.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then she said she may or may not do it again. I think she should do it again. It was good.
Oh, do you know what? I was like that. Now you can't keep me off.
No, you can't
But
keep the bitch
you
off. I'm
you
telling
can't
you.
keep me off. She's looking for a new co-host.
I'm not
She's
looking for,
she's giving me. Giving me.
No, I'm just looking for new panel guests.
She
Everybody's
knows
already,
all. Yeah, she knows all there is to know about me now. She's like, move over.
yeah, I need someone else to talk to and find out all their, I need a new life story. Someone tell me a life story.
I am watching Love is Blind. It's the new series of Love is Blind and it's done in the UK. I don't know whether Pink's watching it or you, Lizzo, have seen it. And well, you can imagine me. So she said, hiya, my name's Catherine. What do you do for a living? And he said, I'm a funeral director. Well,
Oh,
I thought, oh, why isn't that me? Why isn't
Well-
that me on that couch? I'd say, oh my God, you're a funeral director. I just want to be with him just to want to know because I want to know.
because I want to know too. I don't,
Oh.
I haven't watched any of those, but I did get into the night before last and I watched I think I watched six of them, the episodes. Selling Sunset.
What? It's not
It's
where they go out to they sell properties and stuff like that.
yeah, in LA. And
I can't get into that.
I don't know why I watch it I watched every season. I don't know why I watch it. Here's the difference. Here's the deal with it.
There's Susie trying to get my camera and mic to work. You don't even have to go on camera
You
if
could
you
just
don't
use
want to.
you could use your avatar unless you just want to show us your beautiful face.
Yeah.
You don't have to you don't have to show your face. Just turn off the camera and mic. Wild Angel, hello. Good to see you. I hope you're having a
I
blast.
I thought you were going on the 29th. I've been watching your videos to give you some comments. They're really good and very informative because for someone like me who's thinking of going on a cruise, who would love to
Maggie,
go, but then
you
I
would
get
love
dead
it.
scared. I want you
No,
to
no.
show me.
Yeah, you would love it. You would
But
love it.
there's only one thing, Leanie. I couldn't
What?
go in a room with no window for sure, and I'd have to have a balcony. I'm sorry.
I had a balcony. I
Did ya?
had a room with a balcony. Yeah. In fact, I left my balcony door open the whole time.
Yeah, I'd be the same, exactly the same. I'd be out there by the minute, and I'd sleep with the door open. I'd have to.
That's what I did. Yeah.
I'd feel
I
too
only did it because
claustrophobic.
well, the room is big enough that I didn't get claustrophobic, but I slept with it open because I wanted to hear the water.
Oh yeah, that'd be lovely. We
It was
did
beautiful.
when we went to Spain. We were right on the beach, and we used to sleep with our doors open, and we could hear the rippling of the water.
Yeah.
It was the best time ever. Just
Mhm.
hearing that every night, it was just heaven. Are
Um,
you having a good time, Wild Angel? You glad you went now and everything's okay? Are you with your son?
Wild Angel, I'm telling you, if you could find the piano bar, I only found the piano bar like the night 2 nights prior to us getting off the ship. And I was like, where have you guys been? This is fun in here. I had fun in the piano bar.
Oh, I thought that'd be all posh people playing the piano.
No. It's a guy. Well, on my ship, it was a guy who played it. He took um um what do you call them? Requests,
Oh
and he
yeah.
would sing them. He had a microphone so you could sing with him. I
No.
mean, it was just a party. It was just an adult
Oh, see,
party,
I'd
and
love
everybody
that.
was sitting around so they've got
Having a
loungers in
sing
there where
along, like a
uh-huh.
sing along.
Yeah.
Oh,
So you could sit around the piano, or you could sing, like sit in the little lounges around it, and they have a waitress that comes in and out and brings you the drinks that you want. It was fabulous.
a piano body, it'd be something really posh with the man
Yeah.
with a dicky bow sitting there with the mic and playing the piano, and it'd all be like everyone being like all posh suits and stuff. You wouldn't have nothing like that.
Yeah, no, it's not like that. Mm-mm. No, it's totally casual, whatever you're wearing on the
You have
ship.
karaoke bars.
They
Just
do
go,
have, they do. I don't know if
"Bloody
they had a karaoke there. I think they had like not every night. I think it was a karaoke thing, but mainly it's at the piano bar that
yeah,
I
oh, it
found.
sounds good.
But I didn't, I mean, I was only on that ship for 5 days, and that wasn't enough time to really spend time and everywhere
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
ship. It just wasn't.
So
It
big, isn't
wasn't.
it? I seen her
Hmm.
walk around and it just looked huge.
So
Sure,
much
trying
to
my
do.
best last night, my formal dress. I know you said you couldn't wait to get back to take your dress off. Oh, you must have
Yeah,
been.
I did the formal night. Well, they only usually have one. Well, you could, a lot of people dress up formal, like for every formal dinner, every dinner time on the ship. They'll dress up formal. And there's one of the restaurants there was a formal dress, and a lot of people did that. I was like, screw that. No. So I dressed up one night. It was my parents' anniversary, the night of their anniversary. We all dressed up. We went to dinner like posh people, did the whole thing, and then I ran back to my cabin and got out of that shit that fast.
Yeah.
Took pictures. We took pictures that night, did all that, and then um yeah, Suze, you can. Now I'm on the phone with. It's okay, Suze. You could come back tomorrow. It's fine. Are you reading tomorrow, Maggie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I want to finish this book off. So it'll be 8 o'clock. It'll be probably the same time tomorrow. But I'll put it a thing up, what is it? Schedule. I'll put one up tomorrow
Yeah,
what time. But it's probably going to be about the same time, Lee.
that works for me. That works for me. Hello, Army Vet. Good to see you. Thank you. Wild
Hiya,
Angel,
Army
get that
Bess.
painting done, dear. I'm just about done, Wild Angel. I just got to go in there and do the accent wall. That'll take me 5 minutes because it's such a tiny wall. And I'll be done.
Yeah,
Then I can start decorating.
I did see the jellyfish, yeah, on the floor. Yeah, you're walking across the beach because you'd asked someone if it was dead. I seen that, Gail, yeah. How long is the trip for?
Maggie, I'm gonna let you shut this down. I'm gonna get back busy. I just wanted to be up here when Suze came
Okay,
up
Gail.
here.
Okay, I'm getting off
Suze,
myself now. So I'll
Mag,
say goodbye.
no, I'll say goodbye. It's your live.
Okay.
Suze, tomorrow come in. Maggie's gonna be reading the same time, and I'll come up with you. If you want me to, I'll make it as painless as possible. I just want to hear somebody's story, somebody else's story. But I love you guys. Thank you for being here to support Maggie and us and the channel. Welcome to we have 2 new Mad Mods. Thank you so much for accepting our wrenches. We appreciate you.
Who's that? I don't know.
Pink Fan and Jay Badass.
Woohoo!
We love you and we thank you for your support. And to Pink Fan, who gifted 3 memberships. Thank you so much for that. And if you got a
Oh,
membership, please thank Pink Fan for that. We appreciate
I
you
got a
guys so much.
membership the other day for another channel.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
So
see, I'm trying
it
to
was
get out of
nice
the
knowing you.
yeah, I'm trying to get out of the channels
Not
that I
listening to
don't
me.
frequent because I feel bad. I would
Well, I've
rather have
just
people
said
get them who
you never
go all the
listened.
time.
I've just said to you, it was nice knowing you.
Fuck you. You're going to stay here. I'm going to drag your butt out. All right. I love you guys. Finish up, Mags. We love
Love
you.
you,
Thank you
Lee.
so
Speak
much.
to you tomorrow. Well, speak to you in the morning, my morning. Good night and God bless.
Bye, Mags. Bye,
Bye,
everybody.
Lee. Bye-bye. So, guys, I'm going to close this book, I should say, and get myself up the stairs, get washed and get myself into bed because I'm tired now. And I'll speak to you all tomorrow. Thanks very much for coming in as usual. Thanks for the laughs. We do have laughs. We do. And thank God we can all share the same humour. Suze, I hope you can get up tomorrow and have a chat with Lainey. That'd be good. Everyone else, speak to you soon. And Wild Angel, I'll go over and check your videos out when you upload them, hon, and have a look because it's really interesting. I love the way you showed us everything because it's all good stuff, you know, that people want to know if you've never experienced a cruise. And I'm thinking about it, but I'm a bit scared. I don't know. The thought of being stuck out there at sea. And I know people go, you don't even know you're on the water. So you can tell me all that. You can tell me when you come back what it was like and stuff. But I am really enjoying watching the videos. So keep them coming. Thanks very much. So anyway, I'm going to get off. Good night and God bless to everyone in chat. Again, thanks for coming in. And I'll see you the same time tomorrow for the next part of the book. Good night and God bless everyone. Take care. And now here's where the thing gets stuck. Sorry, guys.
Life is hard and life is wild. It can be sad or full of smiles. And every once in a while, you need a break from the mundane. So come back to see your friend, or she'll wonder where you've been. According to Leanie, she appreciates you and all that you do. You need her, but she needs you, and that's the beauty of according to Leanie. So thank you for your time. You are a friend of mine. I'll be happy to see you again on the next According to Leanie. Be good or be good at it. Until next time, love Leanie, love Leanie, love Leanie. Next time, love Leanie, love Leanie. Life is hard and life is wild. It can be sad or full of smiles. And every once in a while, you need a break from the mundane. So come back to see your friend, or she'll